star is born. The star is Fiji Indian TV, featuring a live web TV show covering news, current affairs, sports, Bollywood gupshup, Kaunchi Pakaya, Aao Chat Kare, FITV Talent Time, live coverage and more. Join us with your host Param Sivan. Fiji Indian TV, providing entertainment for the Fiji Indians around the globe. Every Sunday from 1 p.m. www.fijiindiantv.com. Be there.
जी हाँ, ये है फिजी इंडियन टीवी और मैं हूँ परम शिवन।
हमेशा की तरह विश्वजीत का भी प्यार भरा नमस्कार जितने भी हमारे दर्शक हैं आज एपिसोड 67 में।
जी हाँ विश्वजीत जी, डॉक्टर अनिल का प्यार भरा नमस्कार। और जिसे कहते हैं कि दुनिया बदलती रहती है और ज़िंदगी एक सफ़र है।
अच्छा,
कभी सुहाना कभी नहीं सुहाना, और यहाँ कल क्या होगा किसने जाना। तो काफ़ी कुछ हो रही है दुनिया में। आज सिडनी में काफ़ी कूल वेदर है, थोड़ा बारिश हो रही है और वी हैविंग हॉट टॉपिक टुडे।
यस बिल्कुल, विल इज़ वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट।
विल के बारे में
जी हाँ, विल इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। और एपिसोड नंबर 67
बहुत ही तेज़ी से हम 100 अपना सेंचुरी की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं।
Yes, indeed. And you are listening to us on radiosana.com, www.radiosana.com. And Saptahi program, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget to subscribe to this side here while we are switching off from switching to both sides. Well, guys, how has your week been? There's only 3 musketeers here and one is missing.
Noji bhai, we miss you today. If he's watching, his chair मेरे side में होता है ना. So he has got some personal family commitments. But anyway, हम संभाल लेंगे। आज हमारा स्पिरिचुअल फिलोसॉफिकल साइड थोड़ा साइड ठंडा रहेगा, बट हमारा प्रोग्राम तो बहुत ही गर्म रहेगा।
Yes, wonderful, and I'd like to welcome and say hello to those new viewers that are actually viewing, and hello to Mr. Robin Raju and associates, and Sasapne Harish Prasad, and they're all tuning in and watching us.
Very
and
nice,
saying
yes.
and commenting and good thoughts about our thoughts, and saying Doctor is doing really well. It's one of your mates, Doc.
Yes, this is our professionals in Sydney, like you, Jeet, and myself. They are our seniors and mentors in many ways, and social workers as well, like
Yes,
us.
बिल्कुल, yeah, बिल्कुल. I mean, Harish and Robin, they've
done
been
a lot.
in this
And they're both
industry
into music as well.
Yeah, that's a good thing about
And
it.
So welcome, guys.
Plus,
Namaste.
the beginning of the program, let's start and tell Sydney what's happening, and aapke paas rakha hua hai that thing, and also this is what's happening in Sydney. This is I'd like to tell everybody, this is the
upcoming event,
which we are organizing.
If I can,
yes, sure, grab it.
लपक कर
जाना बगियन में,
हाँ, धीरे से जाना।
लपक के झपक के।
खाली खटमल नहीं काटे बस।
Well, हमसे काफी जन पूछे बोले कि why have you got Shahrukh and Deepika on there ना, तो हम बोला कि
because कई लोग,
Here we go, guys. Closer.
everybody's asking if they're coming. That's what they're saying.
There we go.
ग्रोक शॉप
I
में
think
हम
you got the message.
हम ग्रोक शॉप में लेके पोस्टर दिया ना, तो दो जन बात करता रहा साइड में खड़ा के ना, तो हम लोग बात करके 2 एंट्री पास देके चला गया। आस्ते से कान में पड़ा, बोले कौन आया, बोले चुप कर, बोले टिकट मिला, बोले शाहरुख खान आया, बोले। So yes, the thoughts are all the Sydney celebrities. You guys can tell us about as to what's happening ना, कि क्या है वो theme क्या है?
Basically, we're having a very special event where we are getting all the celebrities together. And basically, yes, that's my camera, sir. Celebrities, ये है बहुत सारे fields होते हैं ना, गायक, कलाकार, dancers, singers, poets, writers, sound engineers.
Do we have a poet amongst us?
We do.
Yes,
we do have poets. Yes, dancers, sound engineers, people who do lighting,
film producers,
DJs, film producers. एक film producer हमारे समक्ष आज शामिल है. और yes, I hope you'll have a short film or something to show there, little excerpt.
Well, we'll see.
I think it'll be a good idea.
It'll be a good idea. The thoughts are good, but
little run up. तो ideas अब भाग रहे हैं मेरे दिमाग में. So anyone who has anything to do with entertainment and the arts.
Yes, there will be entertainment on the day. Plus, I cordially invite all the families and friends associated with this. And I have personally rang people around the globe. Around the globe, नहीं Sydney. And
लेकिन हमारे TV की जरा globe में जा रही है program anyway. All welcome.
You're all welcome. And those who are actually basically based in Sydney, I have actually rang them personally, and they are all coming. And it's good to see that people are getting together and hyped up about it.
Paramji, special announcement.
Yes.
The entry is बिल्कुल
moved.
फ्री है.
So please come along.
बहुत डांट लगा हमें एंट्री फ्री के पीछे क्योंकि कहीं आपने एंट्री फ्री रखा है. तो
आजकल there's no such thing as a free lunch, but कोई बात नहीं. And there will be some freebies. We'll have some special lucky draw prizes.
Yeah.
There will be some, yep.
There will be a 40-inch television available as a lucky door prize.
Wow,
Yeah.
wonderful.
And a few other little bits and pieces.
Okay, that's good, wonderful. 40 40 कितना होता है? 40 इससे बड़ा होगा. ये अच्छा लगेगा जीतने में.
HD digital TV worth $700. So
Wow.
that'll be a lucky door prize. क्या है कि हमारे पास tickets नहीं तो we have to work out how will we give it.
No, it's very simple, Doc. I mean, it will
Numbers
be.
दे देंगे.
नहीं, क्या होगा? When people come in, there'll be raffle tickets on the door.
Yes, yes.
There'll be raffle tickets, and like
Give it
there's
for
no
$1,
entry, right?
for
So
$1.
$5 get 3 tickets, something like that.
For
and
$1 or
yeah,
something.
I mean, that's I mean
Yes.
the way of.
Yeah.
Because I mean, nothing is, as you're saying, nothing is free in this world, and it's a free entry,
Yeah.
and the whole costs us a lot of money. So we gotta get
Recover
money
the
out.
cost.
हमारे ख्याल से ये
cost.
पहली बार ये हो रही है ऑस्ट्रेलिया में this
Yes.
kind of event,
Yes.
and we invite and welcome
I think
everybody.
it's around the South Pacific if you think of
Even
it. Doesn't happen in
Fiji and
Yes.
New Zealand. Welcome to our viewers from Fiji, Nisambula Vinaka, and from New Zealand, land of the long white cloud, kia ora. You're welcome to come over, by the way.
Yes,
if you
of
want to
course.
win a 40-inch TV, just pay your airfare, return.
And come over.
Yes.
And yes, it's a good thought, but the idea behind this is to see all those people that we haven't seen or caught up for the last 15 years, 10
Yeah.
years, or
Yes.
whatever. I haven't
Yep.
seen so many of them.
और परम और जीत एक और बात है I have to be very careful. हमारे शो बिजनेस में बहुत पॉलिटिक्स चल रही है.
There's a lot of politics.
There's a lot of polarization.
Yes.
Camps है ना, डेविड के कैंप, गोलायथ का, ये धर्म वो धर्म. So I think what you are doing is very commendable.
Yes, yes.
You are trying to neutralize pH 7 कर देंगे, ना acid ना base.
The base, yep.
So people put aside your differences. Let's get together.
Yes.
अपना अपना काम करते रहो.
Yes.
You know, there's always going to be professional jealousy, personal jealousy. Look, you know, I heard that Lata ji or Rafi ji एक साल बात नहीं किए थे.
Yeah, I also
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
that. Yeah,
I heard that.
sure,
Yeah, I actually read about it.
Yes.
So just a little except, and that comes in, and बाद में, you know, they made so many, sang so many duets. So let's get together and do some duets and triplets and whatever.
Yes, yes. And all those sponsors that are out there listening to this program, it's going to be a massive event, and it's a big place where we can fit a lot of people, you know. And if you would like to sponsor, we've got some slides showing over there. We'll share that thought amongst us as the program proceeds. But let's proceed with the program. Before that, any news around the globe? Anything happening? Kuch
Some
acha?
bad news. The shooting in America. I think everybody heard about that.
That's
in,
right.
in the church.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
lone
think they've
gunman.
forgiven the kid. No, he's 21 years old.
21 is arrested. 9 people, 6 women and 3
And
men.
apparently that's a
Race related,
death,
hate
Right,
related.
right, right,
death penalty in that state.
It is. It is.
He
Let it check.
probably appeal. Unfortunately, भाइयों, mental illness जब रहता है, people बच जाते हैं ना.
No,
So
it should
depends
be
on
because
his,
you don't know, you know.
We don't know what's going on inside him.
Yeah.
But उसके बारे में फिर हम कुछ टिप्पणी करेंगे.
I saw a little glimpse on the television while I was grabbing breakfast yesterday, and all those people in the church have actually saying, "Look, we've forgiven you for what you've done, and he needs to repent." उन्होंने कहा है, तो you know, I think you know it's a good thought.
And
but,
for the lawyers out there, we are celebrating 800 years anniversary of the Magna Carta, which King John year 1215 में इंग्लैंड में लंदन में जहाँ नाम रनीमीड है, तो हमारे सभी जो लॉज है they are based on the Magna Carta.
Okay.
Basically.
And
Western
देखा जाए
society
तो,
में. Even
yeah.
in America they're basing it.
Yeah, and also having said that, Cadbury is celebrating the 110th birthday.
There we go.
अच्छा,
Yeah.
110 साल पुराने होंगे.
Yeah, Cadbury
बाप रे बाप.
chocolates.
Wow.
'Cause I mean, it's favorite for everybody, so they're 110 years old. As of
Wow, chocolate.
this week, yeah.
It's a long time.
Well, guys, you know, welcome to this program, episode number 67, and you're watching us live here on from Sydney, and you can head off to our chat room, which is on www.radiosana.com. You can chat with us and give us some information. आज हम बातें कर रहे हैं विल के बारे में कि विल क्या है. हम आएंगे एक ब्रेक के बाद और उस पे बातें करेंगे कि how important it is to make a will and how simple and how cheap it is. I've seen advertising everywhere. तो उसके बारे में हम कुछ बातें करेंगे. But I'll play a little bit of song and the videos we can watch that. Those who are listening probably will only be able to listen, but those who are viewing will obviously view the video. This is an amazing jugalbandi of instruments.
गाना बजेगा कि
गाना नहीं, it's
surprise.
It's actually गोरे लोगों का है. And the way they play music, amazing. I wish I was like that.
Right.
But let's play that and we'll be back in a sec.
Marvelous, very fast, simple.
Yes.
हमारे समझ violin playing है ना, doing a really nice. सुनने में कुछ बच्चियों सीख रही है.
बच्चों सीख रहे हैं.
Some ladies, some ladies, females.
अच्छा.
Yes.
Females.
They're taking classes.
Girls
from school. Yes.
Oh, it's good.
Wonderful instrument.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. I wish I could play, but कितना instruments बजा सकते हैं? I think एक ही पे निर्भर रहना
I think you
चाहिए.
should stick to keyboard and drums.
In Fiji, people instead of violin they used to play sarangi. Remember?
It's a similar
thing.
सारंगी, use a bow. और उसका जो बार है घोड़ा के होता है, घोड़ा की पूंछ का. Horse hair.
अच्छा.
Yes.
Wow, it's very nice sound.
फिजी में बनाते थे.
Yeah.
Handmade. It's a dying art.
सारंगा तेरी याद है.
Nine हुए बेचे. And I was thinking the same song.
Well,
great
guys,
minds think alike this, है ना?
yes,
I was just going to say.
Episode number 67 and today we are talking about will. कि will है क्या and क्यों हमें बनाना चाहिए और लोग फरमा रहे हैं हम भूल जाते हैं अक्सर बिजी रहते हैं व्यस्त रहते हैं. Some people are millionaires and those who are millionaires obviously probably got the will sorted out and those who are lawyers probably know कि वो optimum amount of wills बनाते हैं. एक ज़माना था the wills used to cost you $200. now it'll cost you $2.50 to $3 if you make yourself.
जो kit मिलता है पोस्ट ऑफिस में kit मिलता है ना.
kit मिलता है.
Yeah, you do it yourself will basically.
Yes. The catch is though you need to get some people signing it.
To witness it.
Yes. So let's introduce
prevent fraud.
thought. We'll go around this way. And what are your thoughts about a will and why should we have a will? How important it is in our daily life. जो भी assets हमारे पास है बहुत ही जरूरी खास अगर आपके पास बच्चे इत्यादि हैं. What are your thoughts and inputs?
Starting from me again?
Yes,
hot
sir.
seat?
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
you're in the hot seat.
Now I have made a will. I would advise
डॉक्टर अनिल के बच्चों याद रखिएगा will बन गया.
Everybody makes a will. We can make comments and personal experience अब हमारा जो क्या बोलते हैं लाइफ में होते हैं but legally under the eyes of the law हम जो बोलते हैं that has no meaning, na? So no offense to our learned lawyer colleagues. Of course we take the advice, but जो लिखित होता है ना वही चलेगा. वही चलेगा. It has to be in writing. But nowadays I presume we will take legal advice on this. You can have video wills. I take it that's valid. That can be valid. I think I'll have to do it. People speak and there's a photograph, a picture with a microphone, and they actually saying, "Look, when I'm deceased, my dog will go to my mother-in-law, my cat will go to my father, and whatever." Na? So I believe there is audio-visual. The world is changing.
Yes, true.
I'm not sure on this, but I've just spoken with some of my colleagues, and apparently, जो लिखित होता है. Now, as they say, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So there are video wills where actually people speak and not to be played until they are actually deceased. So anything can happen anytime. Sudden death, illness, sickness,
accidents.
The worst accidents. The worst thing is when you don't have a will, you leave behind a bad taste in the mouth, bad legacy amongst the children. They're going to be fighting. जिंदगी भर वो दुश्मनी ले लेते. हमारे फैमिली में हुआ है और हो रहा है अभी. Where they did not provide a decent will and they go to court and then it becomes a court case matter where the will is challenged, blah blah blah. Just some opening thoughts.
Yeah, बिल्कुल. I mean देखा जाए doc, what it is, I mean हम हमेशा यही कहते हैं ना, oh I'll make it tomorrow, कहते हैं ना, I'll do it tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. A will is a legal document. It's very important. अगर देखा जाए, अगर आपके पास कुछ भी नहीं है, you still need a will. अगर will नहीं होता है, then what happens is it goes to the government, right? And there is a probate basically. You have to apply for probate. It goes to the states. बहुत ज़्यादा काम होता है इसमें. A will is it is a simple thing which each and every individual should.
जिसके
by
पास
now.
assets है ना.
Yeah. I mean,
Guarding
assets is there when you are working. I mean, you got your superannuation. That's your asset. Because you have to nominate in your superannuation fund. You have to nominate your beneficiaries in there. And sometimes what happens is people forget to change their beneficiaries. क्या होता है कि when they separate from their partners, they still do not go and change their will.
They forget or they
beneficiaries.
overwill it.
बिल्कुल.
Overlook.
Yeah, so there's a lot of loopholes. I mean, or देखा जाए, I mean, people actually wills are contested as well. I mean, it's not definite that the will, whatever you make, is a concrete. They can be actually challenged in courts.
There is provision.
There's provision in there.
law.
अगर मान लो, I mean, I made a will and one of my kids don't agree what I've said. Actually, they can take the will to the court
contest it.
and contest it. Based on the evidence, they'll have to provide
Yeah, also
evidence.
depends on the mental state of the individual.
Yeah.
Because what happens is people make a will and they don't change or modify it.
बिल्कुल.
And when they become sick, especially with dementia, latest news is पहले हम medical field में बोलते dementia starts at 65. अभी it starts in the early 50s. People do get dementia during the sort of early to mid 50s. And therefore it's important to have good legal advice, a witness, and to modify your will. As you say, there's family court issues.
Yeah. I think will should be looked at every 2 years.
I'm not sure. I'll have to again get advice from our learned colleagues. But you can change your will every 6 months.
Every 6 months, yeah. You have to actually
I suppose.
more frequently go and look at your will because
Depending on life
circumstances changes.
life, business,
changes
assets.
in your life. Yeah.
There's a billboard which says your life can change in a second.
Yeah.
True. Well, as I said, ki will in your country will probably cost, I don't know, you head off to a news agent or जो भी आप कहते हैं वहाँ पर available है. Locally here, I think you can buy for about $3 something, and it'll have a few pages. It'll have the normal description in it. You can fill it, and you can get two personnel to witness it. You can get JP or any friends, but who are not related to you.
Not blood relatives.
And basically, that is the cheapest way to put your thoughts in a piece of paper. And जो भी आप लिखना चाहते हैं, या तो फिर आप lawyer के पास जा सकते हैं that can actually draft a will and talk a lot about it. But it's probably better that a lawyer does it because उसमें बहुत सारे loopholes होते हैं, बहुत सारे open sentences होते हैं, and what these open sentences are can be contested in a court of law.
Yeah.
Because what people think is कि हमने will बना दिया है, अरे चलो लिख दिया will. But I think a lawyer would probably know what open sentences are, which means it's left for argument.
Arguments basically is open
and
for
interpretation.
Yes, बिल्कुल.
तो काफ़ी लोग will बनाते हैं कि अच्छा हम मरेगा तो हमारी ये आधा वाइफ की जाए और आधा लड़कन की चल रही, या तो फिर वाइफ की गई है, वाइफ will decide.
This is bad. हमारा हारमोनिया के काटे पड़ी, हाफ हाफ करे पड़ी.
I think the other things that घर की जो चीज़ है, सामान इत्यादि है, तो वो and कि क्या कर सकते हैं. And the reason that it came to my mind is because lately I've been thinking as well that I've made a will, but I haven't added all the other factors which I have actually accumulated. Say, for example, things around here, my instruments, my musical stuff, and
exactly. They're worth a lot of money.
Add karoge hi, then it's a little, everything adds up, तो ये किसको दिया जाए, कैसे दिया जाए, otherwise there'll be a lot of fighting, and anybody that can actually knows you will come and say कि नहीं, hey, he owed me money or something, and they can grab it. So it's a legal document, and will must meet all legal requirements in फरमाया है, and then all file documents, signature वगैरह होनी चाहिए. Your will does more than name says.
Yeah.
Will prevents interstate succession. A will may eliminate family conflict.
सबसे important is this.
Especially हमारे हिंदुस्तानी कौम में.
No, it happens in every society.
Every family.
Every society it happens. Yeah.
Some societies here are really bad. They go to इनका असर क्या होता है ये cases पे, people may not think those who have accumulated 2-3 houses अगर आपके पास सिडनी में ही है तो 20 साल बाद definitely it'll be a state, and what a person goes through contesting for a will is another ball game. And we can talk a little bit about that because I have come across a lot of issues with people discussing with that. And that how important it is कि ये family पे क्या असर करती है.
बहुत गंभीर असर है. हमारे family में लोग बातचीत करना और मिलना जुलना बंद कर दें. They don't speak to each other. Some of them.
Yeah, हमेशा ऐसा ही होता है. I know a couple of families as well where I mean the dad actually is the basically the main head of the house, and then what happens, there's a couple of sons there, and the will is designed in such a way, and especially this happens in our society a lot, is when your dad or someone is really sick. What they do back in Fiji, right? What they used to do is they didn't used to sign, they put a thumb basically, thumb laga, you know. So, yeah, so what people used to do when people were really sick, they used to put the thumb onto the blank wheels, and they just whenever they went in and they just wrote whatever they felt like, you know.
हड़प लेते थे.
हड़प लेते. And
still happens.
And this is why is one of the reason will is very important. जब आपका सेहत सही है, you need to do a will. And I mean, most people say ki, go and get a $2.50 will. I think it's worth going to a solicitor, because that's where you close all the loop ends basically, you know, loopholes.
Especially if you have a lot of assets. Business people, professional people.
Because क्या होता है जो महीना जो open sentences होता है ना, they close it. So I mean, it costs you about $100, $200, $150. Good solicitors just.
I think I saw the sign last. It was about $80 in a hospital environment because sign लगा था ना वो कि
will के ऊपर close रहता बोलते being of sound mind ना.
Yeah, बिल्कुल.
But if you're not in sound mind, or if you undergo illness or operations, some people go into coma, and then they haven't made a will. They may or may not come out of the comatose state. And that's where power of attorney and things come in, I suppose.
Yes, true. Now, the few things which are very important in a will is when you are making a will, note down everything जो आपके पास है, and each and everything. खास पर कभी-कभी लोग भूल जाते हैं कि सुपर किसको मिलेगी. And naturally you think कि हाँ wife and husband है, तो कुछ होगा तो इनको मिल जाएगी. But the thing is, supposedly both of you have end up in an accident जहाँ पर आप दोनों ही चले गए हैं और बचे हुए हैं. So that is very important. We don't think of all these things. You know, we're driving, we'll end up in an accident tomorrow. क्योंकि रास्ते में बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो they drive cars like crazy.
Life is fast. Plane crash हो जाते हैं.
Because आपको पता नहीं ना कल क्या होगा. I mean, we always want to say, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. But the thing is, we don't get time. We don't go around and doing things tomorrow. Says tomorrow never comes. So will में क्या होता? It's very important, as you said. I mean, it is the fact thing is you list all your assets you've got basically. हर एक छोटा चीज का, because what happens is जैसे कहते हैं husband and wife, they're traveling together, they get into an accident, then there's no beneficiaries after husband and wife because आपने will नहीं बनाया ना. Because it's basically it's husband and wife basically. अगर will नहीं होता, when you got kids, then you got to think beyond that, husband and wife.
And we don't realize how much junk we accumulate in our life. Junk simply saying कि अगर हम fetish है, किसी से हमसे लगाव है, तो we look, our watch can cost about what? $500, $1,000.
Oh yeah,
$2,000.
You get a good Rolex, it's worth $2,000-$3,000.
Yeah, gold chain can get up to $2,000 plus. So छोटे जो सामान आपके पास है, that can up to about $50,000.
Yeah.
And people don't think of it.
Microphone worth over $1,000. No, it's people might say. But I just bought a cordless mic. For people out there, no, we can all use it. It's a Sennheiser. It cost me $1,100.
Wow.
It's a really, really good one. And I always wanted it. So, just adding up these things, people... just beg kharida. So those of us who are in entertainment, I mean, there are people around who have sound equipment worth up to $30,000 lying in their garage.
Yeah.
30,000 if you take all the speakers, microphones, and
छोटा चीज जोड़ो. That's up, na?
I mean,
it is very important.
This studio is worth over $10,000. Come on, And if there's a fire, no, probably $15,000. But anyway, if there's a fire, it's all gone. और कभी-कभी हम ये भी सोचते हैं कि हमारा जो material thing है ना, कहाँ जाएगा? People who don't write a will, as we said, there'll be a fight. Some people do not give it to their family. झगड़ा होता है।
अगर पता नहीं
बोले
कि क्या
मंदिर
क्या
को दे देंगे या किसी चैरिटेबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को दे देंगे ना। सो इसीलिए अपना फैमिली से लगाव रखना अच्छा से, बट पीपल डू विल द एसेट्स टू नॉन फैमिली मेंबर्स समटाइम्स।
yes.
ऐसा होता है हमेशा। और हमेशा क्या होता है ना, आई मीन रियली when people start making will, कुछ लोग गुस्से में will बनाते हैं, when they are angry, like अपन लड़का कुछ नहीं देगा, वो बात नहीं सुने। Our will should be done in open and clear mind.
And sound mind.
Because I mean, at end of the day, जिसको आप नहीं दे रहे हो ना, is always a chance of him contesting your will.
True.
Basically. So when you're making will, it has to be an open and open mind. Basically, जब आप will बनाते हैं, it could be fair as well. Equality and fairity should be there.
I think we in this day and era, we don't think that in overseas companies and abroad countries, there are a lot of people that are divorced, that have actually married into another marriage, second marriage होती है उनकी। ये आपकी ज़िंदगी में क्या रद्द बदल लाती है, वो उस पर हम प्रकाश डालेंगे, लेकिन उससे पहले हम चलेंगे फिजी। We'll go to Fiji and we'll bring out all those nits and grits in Fiji that we have heard, and let's share a little bit of thought कि अगर फेंस है, फेंस के उस पार जाना है, ये ज़रूरी है, नहीं है।
Is Sadhu coming on today?
No, Sadhu's not coming in today.
Hello, Sadhu.
So we'll talk a little bit, we'll go to Fiji and we'll talk a little bit about the wills and the things and the news and things. अगर आपके पास property है, you, myself and all go properties in Fiji, family की ही property पकड़ कर रखे हुए हैं, तो हम वहाँ पे चलेंगे, कुछ बातचीत करेंगे, and we'll see what's happening out there.
This year, an Indian star is born. The star is Fiji Indian TV, featuring a live web TV show covering news, current affairs, sports, Bollywood gupshup, Konchi Pakaya, Aao Chat Kare, FITV Talent Time, live coverage and more. Join us with your host Param Sivan. Fiji Indian TV, providing entertainment for the Fiji Indians around the globe. Every Sunday from 1 p.m. www.fijiindiantv.com.
Yes, a wonderful song that was, अगर ये आपने देखी नहीं तो ज़रूर देखिएगा, and it's a wonderful film, it's a very light film, and it's good for all the family cast.
From a director's viewpoint, I mean, I have not me directing, you directing, the choreography जो sequence में होती है, I mean, how long does it take for them to rehearse and get it right?
I think sometimes the songs like that will probably take a week to shoot the whole song.
Yeah, because you can see where the camera is coming in and out. You can see that they all need to be. They're not all dancers, obviously. They've been directed to dance.
All pieces में होता है.
The pieces में होता है ना.
But लेकिन the choreography, the movements and moving to the beat. बूढ़े like you said, two girls in the wheelchair were going along too, doing the thing. Part. I haven't seen the movie, but very nice. I think it will be.
That's where Farah Khan comes into.
So it's a wonderful film. Khair, आज है episode 67 and this is Fiji Indian TV and you listen to us on radioafsana.com as well. Radio feed है. आज हम बातें कर रहे हैं विल के बारे में और चलते हैं Fiji. Your thoughts, guys, and it's a bit of a fun and things to share in Fiji. क्योंकि Fiji में बहुत सारे cases है और the High Court, सुबह High Court जो है बहुत busy है. बहुत बिजी ये सब केस लड़ने में, क्योंकि वहाँ पर जमीन है ना लोगों के पास. हमारे जो पुरखे होते थे वो जमीन लेके रख गए, खास पर वेस्टर्न साइड में बड़े बड़े गन्ना के खेत है, बड़े बड़े जमीन है, फ्री होल्ड लैंड है. और फ्री होल्ड लैंड घर में बिक रहे में देख रहा हूँ सुबह साइड में उधर नमादी हाइट्स $1.2 million,
400,000 plus for a block of land. डॉलर टू डॉलर देखा जाए तो यहाँ से महंगी है some of the blocks.
बिल्कुल. I mean if you look at जो सिंगटोका में जो कोरल क्लोज में जो
बने हैं
जो नया बना है, that stretch there between Pacific Harbor and Singatoka, that settlement there, the land there is $500,000.
Wow.
$3.25 million. जो Bayview Heights है.
Yeah, Bayview Heights
from हमारे गांव के बगल में.
It used to be
Top factory, Sukho Estate, I think, or Muslim Estate.
Muslim State.
They're all up touching $500,000.
$500,000 basically.
And they're not quarter acre blocks. They're small blocks.
Roop Industries used to own all that. Yeah.
And just a bit of facts. Fiji में 83% जो ज़मीन है वो ईतो के लोग own करते हैं. मतंगाली land holding units 83%.
तो जो 15% बची हुई उसमें से 5% crown land है.
5 or something crown. बची कुची will be some government reserves, parks and gardens. So freehold कितना? 10% less.
Less, yeah.
तो फिजी में जब लोग बनाते हैं विल लॉयर के लगे जाते हैं एंड दे गेट द विल, दे ऑलवेज गो टू द लॉयर बिकॉज और कुछ तो वहाँ तरीका है नहीं,
बिल्कुल।
लॉयर पैसे लेते हैं. बट डू यू थिंक पीपल इन फिजी हैव कॉपीज ऑफ विल्स? एक नहीं 2-3 कॉपी बना के रखते हैं क्योंकि वहाँ पे बारिश होती है, तूफान का प्रकोप रहता
Historically,
है.
they have a copy
All
with
these
the
things
lawyer
they always
keeps, I
lose.
think. I think they
और
have it.
विल जनता लोग कहाँ रखे ना?
के नीचे.
नीचे नहीं, गद्दा के नीचे.
Well,
या तो कबर्ड है, अलमारी
yeah.
जो होती है ना वहाँ
Yeah.
रखते हैं. ऐसे.
I think थोड़ा people वो सतर्क हो गए, but I think historically most people relied on the legal practitioner.
तो keep
बोले
a copy.
वकील के पास कॉपी है.
अगर वहाँ से तोड़ के लेके चला गया
वो फाया हो गया.
Yeah.
Yes.
नॉर्मली क्या होता है जब फिजी में विल बनता है ना, आई मीन पीपल जो गांव में रहते हैं ना, दे मेक विल, सो दे
कोई अगुवा रहते हैं.
दे टेक अ कॉपी एंड दे शुड दे टेक इट होम. वो शायद अपने गद्दे के नीचे रखते हैं या फिर गांव में एक वो मुखिया होता है, एक मुखिया होता है, एक गांव का मुखिया,
रिलायबल
पर्सन, डीओ होता है, डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफिसर, ऐसा होता है. तो उनके घर पर वो हमेशा रखते हैं कॉपीज. सो हाँ, बस यही होता है. और देखा जाए तो जैसे आपने कहा, पर मोस्टली द लॉयर्स एक्चुअली डू द विल्स इन फिजी. ऑल्सो जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफिसर्स होते हैं, दे ऑल्सो ड्राफ्ट विल्स ना. वो जैसे आप विल चाहते हैं तो व्हाट ही डज, द डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफिसर व्हिच इज डीओ, यू प्रोबब्ली हर्ड ऑफ हिम. सो द डीओ व्हाट ही डज इज एक्चुअली ड्राफ्ट्स द विल फॉर द पीपल एंड देन द पीपल विल टेक इट टू द सॉलिसिटर्स, द लॉयर्स टू एक्चुअली.
और आज तो इंटरनेट के ज़माने में सब कुछ रेडीमेड होता है ना.
बिल्कुल, yeah,
all the format is there.
Standard format.
Excuse
Just
my
fill your names.
ignorance, sorry, but ये जो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में will है,
Yeah.
the ready-made,
Yeah, do
does
it
that need to be endorsed by a registered legal practitioner?
No,
No,
not necessarily.
No, I don't have to be.
Doesn't have to be.
Just
वो आप-
witnessed by two people who are not related to
Not related to
you.
it.
ठीक है.
But the
Yeah.
thing is the burden of proof. Now, how would you prove that they're not related? जब आएगा contest में ना, that is when the
So you
person
have
might
to
not
be
be
very
around.
careful कि अपना ट्री गिरमिटला पीछे जाके देखे पड़ी.
See, normally the will जो है that is kept in a safe house by the lawyer. If अगर lawyer के पास बने ही. But I don't know. But have you heard of a संस्था or a company that looks after your will?
Yeah, public trustee.
That if you've made a will, you can give it to this company that looks after your will apart from your lawyer. An independent company. Have you heard of this thing?
I have not heard.
Never heard of
Public
it?
trustees. They look after all those things.
That's a
trustee.
government body, no?
government body.
Statutory body.
Statutory body.
वहाँ पे you just go
Yeah.
and enter it and you pay a certain
Yeah,
amount of
certain
fee.
enough money.
Sydney
Public
में है,
trustees.
yeah.
There's,
Okay.
public trustees.
Mm.
So you go there because public trustee,
So
what
they'll
it does.
charge you.
See, when you make a will, there's got to be executor and there's got to be trustee if you got a estate.
Mm.
So that's where public trustees come in and they become your trustee of the
Oh,
estate,
okay.
and they look after your affairs.
But
And
that's
they'll be very neutral.
Wills and probates.
Probates, yeah.
So that's coming under public states.
हाँ.
जैसे जब कोई सुना है बोले बोले स्टेट के चला जी,
हाँ.
है ना, स्टेट के चला जी.
State is a public basically. State depends ना कि आपके state में है कौन. I mean, it could be your family as well. Your state could be your family. I mean, your state is your parents.
अच्छा.
Could be your fiance. Could be your kids. Your state could be that.
अच्छा पता नहीं था मुझे.
You're talking about estate.
Estate,
हाँ,
yeah.
estate.
Not state, huh?
No, state.
Because जो state
yes.
बोलते हैं, like some people who are widows or जो they don't have anybody, they leave it to the state, or as I mentioned before, to a charitable organization or some body. But जो estate होता है वो तो family estate होता है ना. जैसे जो millionaires कैरी पेका वगैरह है उसका they have estates ना, so it goes to the estate.
Because the reason is because फिजी में बहुत सारे केसेस ऐसे हुए हैं जहाँ पर लॉयर के पास अगर पड़ी भी है that it's been changed, कि some people have actually gone and actually intervened and lawyer को पैसे देते हैं. These are all the cases you hear that comes out of Fiji, that the will is changed basically. Now what is power of attorney?
These are all documented cases, and it's tantamount to fraud, fraudulent activity, ना.
और ये power, what is power of attorney? आपके दिमाग में है क्या power of attorney?
Power of attorney is when you give legal authority.
Authority. जैसे मान लिया जाए, मान लिया जाए, I mean, this is the studio, and it's under your name. So you basically say, doctor, you're the power of authority. If something happens to me, you actually direct how this studio is going to run. You're in charge of it, of the studio basically. You direct basically what to do. Like he will be able
on
to
behalf of the
you.
principal, of the owner or the principal.
So then they are the ones in charge of distributing your funds.
They legally, I suppose, own everything then to distribute.
तो किसी अगर और को अगर आप पाओ, काफ़ी लोग ऐसे होते हैं जो पढ़े लिखे नहीं हैं, जो have accumulated a lot of funds, और कुछ भी इनके पास 50,000 or 80,000 or 100,000 अपने बैंक में रखे हुए. Obviously you're not going to ask your mom कि है mom तुम्हारे पास कितना पैसा है, but if you do तो बताई दी, but सही बात तो नहीं होगा ना शायद.
You'll be surprised how many children and
जो pensioners भी हैं कितने पैसे दबा के रखते हैं भाई.
पतो and दामाद do ask and get the कलयुग के ज़माना है ना. So you have to be so careful, especially हमारे age group जो है ना. कितना हमारा एज गो 40 प्लस. एनीवे जो 50-55 प्लस होते हैं, प्लीज यू नो, it's nothing to do with your level of academic excellence or education. It's to do with a fair distribution of what you have worked for all your life. It might be little things, as I said, for people like हमारे पास 3 sets of tabla है ना, they're worth $1,500. I mean, your equipment, as I said before, na, we all own things. People who do business, na, they might have a fleet of trucks, na. So, you know, if you do not make a decision, it may be too late. You may leave behind a legacy of kach for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah, and as you said, kach, and also what happens is a lot of families break because of this. And there's a lot of internal fighting between each other. बहुत सारे झगड़ा होता है.
He leaves a really bad legacy, and then दुश्मनी पे जाओ जाते हैं ना भाई बहन में.
So guys, we are still in Fiji. तो हमें ये बताइए आपके experiences से क्या है Fiji के बारे में. I mean, talking about wills. You've heard things from Fiji.
Lots of
क्या है?
Bad things.
प्रकाश डालेंगे इसमें आप.
एक प्रकाश ये है कि जब हम मर जाते तो वो पूरा प्रकाश बंद हो जाता है ना, कि there's no sunlight ना, so we can't dictate. So Fiji में I have heard stories where one sibling, 4 बच्चे हैं मान लो ना, वो अपना भरमा कर एक पेरेंट को मान लो एक विडो है और उसका हस्बैंड मर गया, without telling the other children, उसको खवा पिया कर जाकर will change करा देते लोग एक्चुअली.
Very common.
I am aware of at least one such case. Right? And when the deceased, the will खोलते हैं ना, I've never been to a will reading, but I suppose there's a movie में दिखाते हैं वहाँ खोलते हैं and everybody's sitting and they say ये तो will हम लोग mom didn't sign this will, ये तो change हो गया है. See, so this is trickery से करते, deception से ना. So that's one thing. I've also heard of cases where, unfortunately and sadly, certain legal practitioners have also interfered with the details of the will, and where the beneficiary has not been what was originally stipulated. So historically, it's a bad taste. All professions have shonky people amongst us, na? Medical, legal, accounting, or where there's money involved, there's always going to be hera-pheri, risk. So legally there can be interference. Family में होते रहते हैं. And I've also heard of a case where way back in the 80s, a person actually hadn't died. They were still alive, right? And will का बटोरा होने शुरू हो गया था. They were in hospital, they were very sick, and the family had started, the children had started to fight and बिका कि इसको किसको jewelry मिलेगा, कहाँ होएगा ना. So these are very very sad, because हम जानते हैं हमारे ladies जो होते हैं, they might not have hard cash, but all the jewelry, the gold they get during their wedding, that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars. It could be it could be worth, I'm aware of one relative who probably owns over $100,000 worth of jewelry. I mean, jewelry means diamonds, silver, sona, chandi, and precious stones. You know, it might not be diamond, ruby, whatever. It's worth over $100,000.
The first thing they go
and
and do is...
This person I'm talking about is in Fiji. It's worth a lot.
I mean,
those are the 3 sort of factors that come to mind.
बिल्कुल डॉक्टर. I mean, I mean, any country. I mean, even here it happens as well. I mean, there's a couple of cases actually in Sydney. I'll tell you.
I mean, Fiji के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं.
I'll tell you about Fiji. I mean, this is a more recent case. I mean, where actually I got involved with these things, so family issues. What happened is like there's a family land basically and a house on it. Jameen. So the the grandmother used to own this solely under the name of the grandmother. The big son basically doesn't live there. He has never been around, right? So what happens is the mother is sick in hospital.
Still alive.
Last minute entry maris.
Last minute entry in the hospital. Will thumbprint.
State. This is property, na?
Yeah, property.
Yeah, it's freehold.
And so what happens? Then the son is the owner of the property now. And then he made his will. When he died, the property goes to his son. And now his son is basically selling the property, and the other people who are living on the property basically saying he got no right to sell, but the will is there. So it's a hota hai families.
Yeah, the law is the law.
The law is the law. So I mean, you can still contest that. You can put a probate on it and fight. But obviously
caveat मार देना. Caveat नहीं बोल पाया ना. Caveat मारिस.
Caveat.
Yeah, things happen. Or I mean, there's issues here.
Basically halting the
but the flip side is there's a big amount of
legal
money need to spend to fight the case, because the lawyers are going to be fighting a case, and they'll be playing with your mind. Opposition party say the lawyers will be talking.
बिल्कुल.
And once the lawyers talk, it's their game. पैसा बनाने की तरकीब ये है कि एंड में स्टेट में कुछ नहीं बचता है. The rest have gone to the lawyers
basically. And since there is a lot of fighting within the families ना, क्या होता है कि infighting होता है. So the best thing to do is when you actually are making a will. I mean, making a will is not only your estate as well. You got to worry about what you own. You have to worry about yourself as well. When you're making a will, you got to tell them, okay, this is how I want my funeral to be done as well. It's not that because as soon as your will is there, your kids are there, I'll say, okay, let's put this guy back in the grave and let's share the money. It's not the will is back.
Because in Australia, if you bury someone, that cost about $15,000.
$15,000 to $20,000 to buying a plot.
If you pressing the button, it's about 3.5-4 grand. अगर full इत्यादि लो तो full तो about $1,000 के ऊपर हो जाए ना.
So it's cheaper to press the button.
No, but pressing a button is $6,000, $7,000 even pressing a button.
Black and white वाले सस्ते में कर दे आजकल ना जो घूम रहे हैं Men in Black.
Yeah. I'm aware of one. Sorry.
No, you go.
One ex-Sakshay, Sydney में, and he's, I don't know how you can. He's either too clever or cunning or whatever. So he has got one parent to sell one of their properties to him at a very cheap price. Right? Like half what it's worth.
अभी के ज़माने में
अभी है अभी हो रहा है ये. So this parent is still alive, a little bit old, but what he's done is got other siblings. There's 4 in the family, and he somehow persuaded अपने माता जी को कि भाई ये प्रॉपर्टी हमसे बेच दो, आप बूढ़ी हो गई है. And he didn't actually say कि you'll die soon, which would have been a bit nasty. And he got the property to be sold to him. So he's got the title now, well below market price, almost half price. So before the will is opened, before this person is deceased, there's already kach happening. The other 3 are saying, look, why did you? And he said, I bought it. I mean, she sold it to me. And he had the means to buy it. So these are all hera-fairy ways of bypassing the will by shrewd humans. Conniving and shrewd people. So
yeah, I mean, that
is why the will is so important. Na?
I mean, Fiji में भी देखा जाए, when people don't make wills and देखा जाए तो when the dead dies, so obviously saying oh बड़ा लड़का, he gets the होuse, he gets the farm, and then there's younger siblings.
बड़ा पतो भी मिल जाए कभी.
Then what happens is when the sibling comes, the other siblings, they start fracturing from the
big fracture,
from the bigger brothers and all that, and then the fighting happens. So it is very important जब आप will बना रहे हैं, everybody should be present. Actually, I think the best thing is to do when you're making will, you should actually read out your will to the people involved
before you die.
Before you die. so that it is very clear who is getting what.
But I think अगर पहले बना देंगे तो झगड़ा शुरू हो जाएगा ना फैमिली में the fracture starts happening then and then कि का है उसके का है इसके.
No, unless you are biased, then that's going to happen. If you are fair, equitable will is there.
लेकिन आजकल मैंने देखा है फेयर इक्विटेबल विल नहीं देखा मैंने बहुत. कोई ना कोई जैसे हम बोलते हैं हमारे फैमिली में एक ना एक डायमंड होता है ना और सब कोट्स होते हैं ना जो रूपर एक कुछ ना कोई फेवरेट रहता है फॉर सम रीजन. एंड लोगों को देखना चाहिए जैसे हकीकत है ना कि बूढ़े समय में बूढ़े अवस्था में हु इज लुकिंग आफ्टर यू दिस इन्फ्लुएंसेस द पेरेंट. जिंदगी भर वो लास्ट आपने बोला क्या लास्ट में एंट्री मारते ना लास्ट में स्टार एंट्री मारते से सो पीपल डू दैट
कोट मार के
राइट. सो एंड दे इन्फ्लुएंस बिकॉज जो पीपल इन द 70s दे आर वेरी वेरी इमोशनली अनस्टेबल समटाइम्स नॉट जस्ट डिमेंटेड दे नीड लव एंड अफेक्शन एंड बोला कि वो हमें बहुत भारी देखभाल करीस ना तो वो भूल जाते कि जो 70 से देखभाल करते हैं इससे उसको भूल जाते जो लास्ट 7 years में करते हैं sometimes they feature more. So these are all factors that come in.
बिल्कुल.
Well, let's take a break and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about will that हम अपनी तरफ से ये कह सकते हैं कि कहाँ लूप होल्स है और कहाँ का क्या होता है विल में. और विल ना सिर्फ पेपर ही देखेगा बट देयर आर अदर सॉर्ट्स ऑफ थिंग्स जो आपको देखना चाहिए. खासतौर पर अगर आपके पास बुजुर्ग पेरेंट्स हैं और उसके पास कुछ है माल है जिसे ना
ठंडन गोपाल
तो थिंग्स लाइक अ गोल्ड बार और समथिंग दे हैव एक्चुअली सब टगला के लोग रखी से बट यू डोंट नो एंड विल गिव अ बिट ऑफ अ थॉट्स टू कहाँ वो पैसे रख सकते हैं कहाँ चीज़ रख सकते हैं किसको दे सकते हैं किसको नहीं कहाँ पर. अ फ्यू थॉट्स ऑन दैट विल कम बैक विद.
यस.
कुछ थम्स अप का तरह किसके डॉक तुम
नहीं
बिल बना दिया.
We're just talking about कि thumbs up that in the end do get some legal advice especially in this country.
You would do it yourself will man. There's issues there. There's loopholes. A lot of loopholes there.
Now, Doc, you've got your parents alive. My mom's alive. Mom. Same as me and mom. And you've got both parents alive.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever thought कि ये पैसे रखते हैं कहीं पर रखते हैं पैसे. See, they've got a habit of accumulating money.
Older people
and
do
things
not,
and
they
jewelry.
generally not पैसा बैंक नहीं करते. They don't have this concept of fixed account में कर देंगे interest ना. वो लपेट कर बेन में पुराने जमाने में तो गड्ढा में गाड़ देते थे. You know that ना. Accidentally कभी के पीछे डालो बोते रहो कुछ कुर्बान लगे बोले खर्च से कुछ है इसमें ना. It used to happen. In my family in Tavuni people they still don't know where some of their जोहर वगैरह है. They bury the money आजी वगैरह ना. And sometimes we joke we should go and dig up. So they do keep money and most of the time they will confide in someone where they keep it. It's not necessarily under the gadda but it might be in a container. Some people put their jewelry maybe I shouldn't be saying it but people know राइस माला कंटेनर है एक राइस ला कंटेनर बोले चोर और कभी आई बोले तो राइस कंटेनर नहीं खोजी ना
वो लेके चल देना ना अच्छा जाने ला.
Fiji में तो जान गए but यहाँ पे they might not realize that ना. So they do keep their cash and jewelry.
Because they've got a habit of keeping $50, $100 notes वो इकट्ठे करके रखते हैं ऐसे नोट के. If you think of it,
nice.
$100 note is
it's a grand.
It's $1,000 and it is very little. इतना बहुत ही पतला है. 100 grand is about probably 5 mil.
आसानी से गुम हो सकते हैं.
Probably 5 mil. And a thickness like this would be how many $100 notes?
Probably 20.
25 I think.
More than that I reckon.
Easy. 20, 25.
लोगों को मैं दिखाता हूँ. That's about 10 mil.
Yeah.
It's about 10 mil.
Yeah.
10 mil would be roughly about 3,000. अगर $100 bills is about $3,000.
ये वाला बटुआ अगर गद्दा के नीचे है and these are all $100 bills for example. Look at that.
Yeah.
The thickness. $100 bills अगर आप निकालो कितना हो जाएगा?
50,000 हो जाएगा.
There you go.
10 is 1,000. 50 is
50 plus?
That's about 250.
Yeah, so you got 250. That's $25,000.
50 भी हो सकता है because अगर you know
Have you ever
नया नोट्स है ना.
Have you ever thought of it?
खोजेक जाएगा तक नीचे. But no, I have कि they might be hiding it in
hiding नहीं, वो रख देते हैं, कैश रख देते हैं, because उनकी हैबिट होती है,
storing it,
हैबिट storing it and just keep it, and they've उनकी सिस्टम ये है कि यहाँ से निकाल के हम यूज कर लेते हैं, कि बैंक में रखेगा तो फिर देखिए गवर्नमेंट ना कि कितना पेंशन है ना,
बिल्कुल पेंशन या फिक्स पेंशन, अगर यूथ अलाउंस
ज़्यादा पैसा रहे तो गवर्नमेंट पेंशन नहीं दी.
पेंशन. So the bed they have is, you know, some के hollow beds होते हैं, some के वो 2 pieces होती है,
वो
मैट्रेस एंड बेस, तो उसमें तो नहीं लोग आ सकते ना. कुछ के जो वुड का बेस होता है ना, वो अंदर होलो होते हैं, तो वो ड्रॉज भी होते हैं उसमें, वो सब.
And as they get older, that's a good point. I think I know what you're driving at. When if they start, memory starts getting lost, तो dementia हो जाएगा,
रख के भूल जाते हैं, रख के भूल जाते हैं. Especially they've got diamond rings, diamonds and all the other जो भी ज्वेलरी जो एक्सपेंसिव है, मोहर लोग जो है ना 10-15
what they do, they put it in a handkerchief, tie it up,
भूल जावे ना, भूल जाए.
They do.
Yes. And I also myself actually I don't wear much gold and things like that, so I have to go and look for it because I have tied it down in something and I've left it somewhere amongst my clothes. I'll have to look for it. तो मैं सोचा यार कि मैं इस उम्र में भूल गया कि कहाँ रखा है, किसी कपड़े में पड़े हुए जैकेट के you know पॉकेट के अंदर रखा हुआ है कहीं.
I'm smiling because I have a similar story. It happened to me with cash. I went interstate and I forgot. And they rang my wife and said, "Oh, Doc has left a jacket here, na?" And I said, "Oh, कोई बात नहीं, पिकल बोले नहीं, बोले इसके जेब में हम सस्ता वो काम छोड़ी, इस पैसा रखे सा जेब में." And they're honest people.
Yes.
And I completely forgot.
Yes.
It wasn't much, but you know, just days
But
taking.
still, you know, people, this is where they keep the money.
So it wasn't thousands, just maybe $200 or $300. But I completely forgot that I had money in the jacket pocket. I just said there's a jacket there. बस
भूल जाते हैं पैसे.
छोटे amounts भी हो जाते हैं.
Because I've got a habit of leaving money in places where कहाँ पर अगर मुझे पैसे की जरूरत पड़ती है, I don't usually carry cash much in my wallet. So I've got a habit of keeping things here and there. कभी $5 नोट मिला, निकालो. तो because on times that you need things, वो निकल जाते हैं वहाँ से ना. So इसी तरह से बुजुर्ग लोग होते हैं, don't go through my wallet, okay? बुजुर्ग लोग जो होते हैं वो रखे ना जगह जगह पर ये चीज़ रखते हैं, और खास पर जो wills वो बनाते हैं, they keep it. It's very simple कि वो they keep it out in the, you know, गद्दा के नीचे.
Simple example, last week I found a lotto ticket I bought 2 years ago.
अरे बाप रे.
Check भी नहीं किया.
Check नहीं करा.
Oh, it could be a winner here, Doc.
I think you have to go online and then log in. Shop में नहीं करेंगे, but छोटा मोटा चीज़ ना.
So ये बहुत ही ज़रूरी है. But the most important thing I think is if you are making a will, you know, खास तौर पर if you got a big family, and they just said कि bring the family together and sit them down and say, unless you are sick, I think, अगर you know, if you कैंसर से पीड़ित है, you on your deathbed, then it's probably वो भी ऐसे करके हाथ पीछे रख के खड़े हो जाते हैं, आगे रख के तो नहीं खड़े होते ना. बड़े लड़के जो होते हैं जो एक दूसरे से बात नहीं करते हैं, एक दूसरे से you know बैर है, so they come and पीछे हाथ रख के मुंह लटका के खड़े रहते हैं ना कि आज क्या होगा क्या नहीं होता है. तो obviously it doesn't make a difference to them, but they'll be happy to see कि हाँ मुझे कुछ मिला है will में. And often will is something that it's free for you because it's an extra money, extra money, or things that is out of your reach.
Yeah, but you should appreciate what you're getting anyway. If even you don't get anything, it's not the thing you're getting is, you know, you basically आपको अफसोस करना चाहिए, you're losing an important thing which could be your parents. You know, that's more important, that you're losing them. I mean, rather than getting what they've got. I mean, hang on, you got 2 hands, they had their 2 hands, and they made it. So.
And I know someone that actually has you know, close to retiring age. Probably they've got another 10 years to go before they say, look, you know, call it quits at the job. तो they are paying a mortgage. तो 10 साल जब बची हुई है mortgage pay करने के लिए, they have got a sick parent जो फिलहाल nursing home में ही है. And dementia है उसको, and 3 बहन है. But apparently she's just waiting कि when she's going to die, that she's going to have a mortgage paid off.
Wow.
You know, the world has changed this way.
It has changed.
There's about $1.2 million invested into that.
Yes.
So when she dies, so they all get about $400,000 each, obviously. इस तरह से वो will बनाई है घर. So they're just waiting.
जो ट्रस्ट और जो you know क्या बोलते हैं रिलायंस वो सब नहीं है ना, इसीलिए बिल्कुल सतर्क होना चाहिए और हम फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड कंट्री में रहते हैं जहाँ पर द लॉ इज़ वेरी वेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड एंड इट्स अप्लाइड टू द हिल्ट ना, द फुल फोर्स ऑफ द लॉ बोलते हैं ना। तो आपने जो बताया जो बुजुर्ग लोग होते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं कि लास्ट मिनट में उसको घर से भी बेचारे को निकाल देते हैं, बूढ़े माँ बाप या यू नो।
बट वो जब तक नहीं निकालेंगे, उनके पास प्रॉपर्टी है, उनके पास सामान है, चीज़ है, उनको उस वक्त तक नहीं निकालेंगे। बट कुछ लोग ऐसे भी होते हैं कि यू नो भरवा के रखते हैं, तब तक रखते हैं कि वो जब तक जीवित है, उसके बाद में तो वो काम बना देते हैं।
मेरा पर्सनल ओपिनियन है विल को डिस्क्लोज नहीं करना चाहिए व्हाट्स इन देयर। वो दे विल स्टार्ट एनमिटी, इट्स मेड, इट्स विद द लॉयर समबडी एंड हां ऑफ कोर्स अनलेस यू हैव गॉट अ गुड रिलेशनशिप एंड यू सिट डाउन विद द,
अगर एक बच्चा है तो इट्स डिफरेंट स्टोरी, there's only one person, when there's two then there is obviously going to be some sort of confrontation
रहेगा।
So you know, if you have got a lot of money tied up somewhere, कुछ investments भी है, because lot of people have got a habit of investing here and there, और वो भूल जाते हैं, टैक्स नहीं रखते हैं, और कुछ ना कुछ करते हैं, टैक्स नहीं रखते। Some people are lazy, generally they are just normally they are just lazy, or they too busy to think of things। अरे यार वो बना देगा, इसे मूड खजवाई है। Have you met people like that?
Yes.
I've met people like that। नहीं बना यार, बना देगा, but वो बना देगा, खत्म।
They forget about it.
It's going to happen, bang, you know। And you sometimes you meet a nice person, humble person, and a very nice person, and everything's going good for them, they've got this and that, money, everything happening, and कब बना नहीं बना यार, बना पड़ी यार, बात सब वाइट हो लगा। But those are the people that forget to make things like that, you know। So it's going to be a bad story when they don't make it, ना।
I mean, also when people make will, I mean, people got to understand one thing। हमेशा ऐसा होता है ना, families में क्या होता है, जब all parents होते हैं ना, तो शायद बेटा या बेटी कहती है, डैड मेक श्योर तो हमें दे दो भी सब चीज़, एंड आई विल लुक आफ्टर यू ना। नेवर मेक दैट मिस्टेक इन योर लाइफ। जो हमारे बुजुर्ग लोग इस कार्यक्रम को देख रहे हैं,
I think 50% of the time this used to happen in Fiji, third world country। यहाँ पर it should not even happen in 1%, because human nature है ना, जब मिल गया बुड्ढे का लात मार दो,
एक्स्ट्रा हो गया ना, एक्स्ट्रा पैसे आ रहे हैं।
So very important thing, I mean, जितने बुजुर्ग लोग देख रहे हैं ना, never make this mistake। अगर आप will बना रहे हैं, will is there, don't do things before your
and
death।
if adults are healthy in this country, which they should be at 65 to 70, you know, God willing, they will have assets। कुछ नहीं तो most of them mortgage all will be paid off, at least they'll have one property besides their musical instruments and jewelry and you know, other bits and pieces, na business।
Now there's a lot of people that have businesses as well. Our businesses, if the business is successful, you know, it's a really successful business and you've got kids in there, you know, if you're running a business abroad run कर रहे हैं, तो फिर internationally run कर रहे हैं, 4-5, I know some people that have got companies everywhere in every country। वहाँ पे खरीद के रखा है KFC चिकन, वहाँ पे रखा, मैकडोनल्ड खरीद के रखा, उस कंट्री में, इस कंट्री में फ्रेंचाइज करके रखे हुए हैं। तो दोज आई डोंट नो हाउ दिस इज इफेक्टिव, कि किस तरह से वो लड़ेंगे, वहाँ से इनकम लेके आएंगे, वो बेचेंगे, ये वगैरह वगैरह। आई डोंट नो हाउ इट वर्क्स आउट, कि दुनिया भर में आप इन्वेस्ट करके रखे हुए हैं तो स्विस अकाउंट में समथिंग, आई डोंट नो हाउ इट वर्क्स। But I think it's very important, अगर आप will बना रहे हैं, there's a lot of thought you need to put into making wills, because if you don't, then there's always going to be problems।
और जो will है, it's not just about assets and properties, उसको बोलते हैं last will and
full and final
testament बोलते हैं इसको ना।
तो testament में या क्या है, आप you can write down other things besides who's gonna get what। कभी कभी हमारे जो नेचर, स्पेशली मे बी हमारे लोग में, वो सोचते ओ बुढ़ा मरी बुढ़िया मरी तो हम उनके ये सब मिली, they going for the material things ना।
बुढ़ा बढ़िया मरी तो मिली था।
तो टेस्टमेंट में है कि यू कैन मेक स्टेटमेंट्स, इसीलिए जो वीडियो, मैंने आई हैव सीन फ्यू वीडियो विल्स।
Yes, I've never seen।
I'm not sure, again this is subject to legal verification whether it's legally verified to do a will on video, but I've seen statements made by someone who's deceased. They made a video of who's going to get what and all that, and I'm not sure whether that's valid or whether they also had a written one too। And they're sitting down and telling stories, उसमें गाली भी देते कि ये हमारा ये इतना पैसा बाकी है और इसको मैं अपना फ्यूनरल में आँखें से देखे मांगता है। मैं बोला ये तो बेचारा स्वर्गवासी होगा, ये देखेगा कैसे ना। एक वीडियो मैंने देखा ऐसे, I don't want to see him with my eyes at my funeral.
I don't want to see him in my funeral.
हाँ,
I don't want to see in my
I don't want to see my eyes. इसके आँखें से नहीं मुझे देखे ना, तो some of them quite amusing, you know.
Guys, this is the comedy part of this section.
So that proves कि there is life after death.
Yeah, there is, yeah. there
ऊपर से
is.
देखेंगे,
ऊपर से देखेंगे.
दूरबीन लगा के ना. तो
उसमें देखिए वीडियो में उन्होंने टिप करी थी.
yeah, it's a video. They sit down like this, like I'm sitting here, and I said, "अच्छा,
हम उसके आगे नहीं मंदा
I
देख
had
के
a
मर
good
जाएगा.
life, gentlemen, and I enjoyed everything. मैंने एक मूवी बना के रखा था, बनाया चोरी नहीं करना, you know, things like that, ना?
उसमें भी बताया है कि हम तुम्हें मट्टी में नहीं बनता देखा था.
Yeah, I've seen the video.
My funeral, I don't want to see in my funeral.
Certain person, so he's in confidence, like someone like, you know. I was part of a close family unit where they invited me over and said, look, this is what so and so said.
बुढ़ाई चीज छोड़ के चला गया ना.
सुन लो बोले, किसके गाड़ी दी, किसके कितना पैसा, बोले हम नहीं जानता रहे, बोले इसके कितना पैसा बाकी है, बोले.
Oh no.
फिर उसमें चला थोड़ा ना.
Yeah, because then they'll
They
fight.
didn't divulge it, see.
Yes,
Family member कैसे है, कहाँ पे है, कौन सी बेच रहा. So nice things to say, गाली भी दिया, किसके बोला इसे बोले ना. So that's one way of leaving behind an impression, ना.
Now the question I'd like to ask you is, if you got a hefty debt, okay, say you're running a business, you got 4 or 5 cars, Ferrari वगैरह लेके रखे, मैं भी लेके रखा हूँ. Who pays for those bills when you're dead?
Goes to your state. No?
अगर बिल विल में लिखा हुआ है कि हमारे बच्चे पे करेंगे, फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर विल में लिखा है कहीं कि my debt will be covered by my
No, I don't think
so.
legally
It's not bounded. You cannot write your debt. You cannot nominate your debts. Yeah.
My understanding is, believe if you, say if you have 30,000 on your credit card and you suddenly become deceased, I'm not sure whether the credit card company can get the money off your property. I think that probably have to get some legal advice on that.
अगर कहीं
कि तुम्हारा और कहीं fixed deposit है, then
as an
they'll take
equity
it
अगर रखी हुई है तो I think they are liable to contest and say, look, you know, he's an equity रखा हुआ ना, से भी, for example, your house is an equity to $30,000, for example, and it's paid off. So obviously there would be some. Otherwise, 30,000 is a hefty loss for the company.
A lot of people chalk up a huge debt. I know people who have 30 to 50,000 on their credit card. Personally, I know some people.
ये सब हम लोग सोचते नहीं है कि हाँ चलो बुड्ढा बुढ़िया मर्जी कब मिली, वो कर्जा भर के बाद तो कुछ नहीं मिली ना.
Yeah. So if it's in the same bank account, I suppose they're probably legally entitled to take deduct money from your other account.
See, what happens is, I mean, I can verify that for you. I mean, I know a little bit about it, so I can share some light on it.
We'll bring it back next week after talking to. But anyway.
Yeah. See, what happens is when you make a will, right? I mean, basically your assets are listed. Basically, I mean, you're making a will for your assets and stuff like that. If you got a credit card loan, basically, right? So what happens is like your credit card. Sometimes there's no conditions. There is no guarantees, anything attached to that credit card. So what happens in that case?
जो fine documents जो आप sign करते हैं, I've got really bad habit. I don't usually read them.
No, terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions credit cards की होती है. I must say I've never read all of them.
Yeah. Nobody reads that.
Depends on how far the glasses are, ना. चश्मा थोड़ा दूर है तो बोले कौन पढ़ी? No, I don't.
Yes.
I flick over it quickly,
yes,
and I say, oh, they're all the same now. I've read it before, ना.
Yes.
But that's a big mistake.
It's a very big mistake. इसमें कहीं ना कहीं final points में लिखा हुआ होगा ना.
Depends कैसा loan है ना. If it's unsecured loan, then you don't have to. वैसा होता है ना. If it's secured loan, then it's secured against your assets basically. Security में क्या होता है? You might put your car, you might put your house if you got a house. और वैसे देखा जाए, if you got a credit card,
किसी ने कहा है credit card debt is an unsecured lending.
बिल्कुल.
So that means once you're gone, you write off.
50,000 लेके तुम चल रही है ना. So if
that's good clarification.
If you're dying, for example, you know you're dying, and you've taken a $50,000 worth of credit card shopping करवाया सबको ना. So when you know you're dying in 10 days, so obviously it's a debt ना. How many people do want to cheat?
30 days मिलता है. अगर 30 days ला नहीं मरा तो फिर पे करेक्ट पड़ेगी.
नहीं तो उसमें minimum पैसा
बचेगा. You basically, it's true.
See, what happens is with the credit cards, I mean, it is true that it is unsecured, but sometimes your credit card is linked to your home loan.
Let's say if it is linked,
then it comes out of your basically.
अगर American Express लेके चल रहे हैं तो 50,000-60,000 लेके चल रहे हैं इसमें. We've known of some cases that's happening. That's why. Khair, you know, if you are making a will, be very careful when you're making a will. कि आपको क्या रखना चाहिए. छोटे-छोटे चीज़ अक्सर हम भूल जाते हैं. जैसे मॉनेटरी चीज़ हो हमारे पास होते हैं, जैसे $1,000 के माइक्रोफोन, अगर 10 माइक हो गई तो 10,000 वहाँ है. Kids probably don't think of it. Some kids are not into entertainment. I get big doila.
Yeah, that's true.
I know some older women. I would say they're quite wise. Chatur bolte hai, chaturnath. Very, very practical. They start distributing their jewelry and things once they
गोरे लोग में
know.
मैंने ये देखा है.
When they're a bit older,
हाँ.
or they know they're sick, or you know, I suppose that they get this aura, na, ki they might not live that much longer.
Or will they start distributing the funds?
They start giving out the material things कि भाई ये
Granddaughter
अंगूठी है,
रख लो
ये
इसको,
अंगूठी
हाँ.
रख लो, ये है, ये इसके दे
ये
देंगे,
मोर है तुम
इसके-
रख लो ना अभी से.
हाँ. And
जब से
living
प्रोग्राम शुरू हुआ पर मोर कुछ ज्यादा ही बोल रहे हैं आप.
नहीं, हमें एक मोर मिला था वैसे बताता है यार. हमें मिला
That's why
है.
he's every time.
हमें एक मोर मिला है. No, I remember the stories ना जब
people who
बढ़िया
don't
लगा.
understand Sanskrit that well, मोहर is medallion, जो gold medallion होता है, वो हमारे गिरमिटिया लोग करिया डोरा में पहनते थे.
Yeah.
Then each one is pure gold, 22, 24, and I suppose in this day and age, एक मोहर, what's the price of gold now?
110, $20 होगा.
नहीं, more.
Is it?
Well, I think
know.
gold is $40 a gram or something. Jack se
Well, I
$50
just paid
silver, right?
I just paid $60 a gram. I just bought a chain for my dad.
Okay, this
Paid
how
$60 a
out
gram.
of daytime. Last time I bought it, it was 40. So $60 a gram.
Yeah.
That moher will be at least 5 grams.
Because my mom's actually bought a chain and a more for every son and the grandkids. So she's already distributed कि ये बाकी मेरी jewelry मेरी बेटी को जाएगी कहती है ना. So she's already distributed everything. कि this is for you, झगड़ा नहीं करना, this is for you, this is for you. सबको दिया.
5 to 6 grams लगेगा. So that's over $300.
Because they collect money and then buy and then they did it while she's alive. So
Over
she's distributed.
$300, right?
हाँ.
3, 4. I'm going by a gold crown. हम जो gold crown बनाते हैं, एक crown का weight 1.5 to 2 grams है.
More
Bengals.
चिड़िया मिल गई इसको लड़ी.
एक crown ना, तो crown में 1.5 to 2 grams है, तो एक मोहर का weight is equivalent to at least 2 or 3 crowns.
तो अगर
dental crowns.
अगर 10-20 हजार का डेंटल क्राउन है डॉग तो क्या करेंगे उसको? विल में लिखना पड़ेगा.
नहीं तो बटन प्रेस करके बाद जल्दी से पीछे पहुंच जाना, नहीं तो उठा ली फला, फिर पाला निकाल ली.
A moher is about 2,025 grams.
डॉलर्स.
No.
डॉलर्स लेके.
नहीं, वो है grams. 2,000 grams.
2000 की 200.
No, you can.
$220 I think he's written dollars the other way around.
Is it? Oh, okay, $220. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. About 250 to 300.
But no
At
more.
$60, so 5 grams is $300, और एक crown का weight is 1.5 to 2 grams. एक हम जो dentistry में crown लगाते हैं.
सोने का.
Yes. So 3 crowns equivalent. So thanks for that info.
Ronji.
So a lot of people actually जो dental procedure करवाते हैं gold या silver whatever करवाते हैं.
They might have up to $50,000 worth of dental work in their
तो
mouth.
लगा के चल देते हैं.
Some people,
When they
yes.
die they're gone with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Never thought of that actually.
Yeah.
Dental crowns gold plated.
That's why I think when
The
they
pure gold,
they put the button
नहीं
up,
होता है.
press
20,
button
20.
up here, dog. They'll ask if there's
पहले
any.
उठा लेते हैं दांत.
No, they ask if there's any gold things in there. They ask the question.
बटन तो आ गई है ना. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं है ना आ गई वो.
But
Yes.
they do ask the question.
बट तो टकल के निकलेगा तो ही ना.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
hot
in the
enough.
end.
You can melt gold at between 600 to 900 degrees centigrade.
But
Gold
then
melt हो
after the
जाएगा.
body जब wash निकालेंगे तो they'll get the gold.
You
जो
can.
भी लोग करते हैं
Yes. Huh? If you look around.
That's if you know ना कि if your parent.
So I mean 7 to 750 centigrade में, or even a bit less, 22 karat gold कल जाता है.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take a little short break.
Bit of
We'll come back
snippets
and
there.
we'll talk a little bit more about wills की wills क्या importance रखती है हमारी ज़िंदगी में, क्या ज़रूरी है क्या नहीं है. Those who are young who is actually watching this program, please do subscribe to our channel though, which is on YouTube and Facebook.
And don't worry about yesterday. Yesterday is gone. आज आ गया ना.
Yes.
So
while on the subject, वो Beatles का जो गाना था yesterday,
Yes.
1965 में रिकॉर्ड हुआ था. So it is now 40 years old this year. Beatles का song था yesterday. All my
Yesterday
troubles seem to be far away. Now they seem to be here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. 1965 वो 70s में बहुत पॉपुलर था.
Okay, let's take a short break and we'll be back with more on will. Or it is WILL, not WHEEL, by the way.
They will, yeah. Somebody's in the chat room
Fiji
saying
Lamore.
Fiji Lamore, na?
कोना में ले जाके कोना करके बेचे.
So you pay $200 to get 220 cents coins, basically. वो जाति भाई बेचते हैं ना. They're very very smart.
Yeah.
A lot of people get con with that.
भाई नहीं सोना मांगता.
Yeah, that's what
They're clamping down on it now. It's
I
not
think I
hard.
bought once. I've been conned.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been.
I mean, they did a couple of times to me, but I said no, I don't want to buy it. Yeah.
एक टिप है, अगर आपको किसी ने सोना बेचा सुबह में ले जाकर कहीं पर भी बोला कि भाई ये भैया सोना मांगता, and you know it's not more, सोना को बोलो मुझको चेक करना है, राइट? आपने वो स्टोरी सुना, सोना को मंगाना है, इसको गला कर बनाना, बोलो सोना को मुझको दांत में दबाना है, so quick test it, if it is gold, उसके तुम बाइट करेंगे अगर दांत हो तो उसमें मार्क बनेगा, and pure gold will go right through.
Yeah.
Right? If it is hard, soft नहीं रहेगा.
Gold through मैंने मतलब
कि आप उसमें मार्क बन जाएगा.
अच्छा.
दांत से या किसी चीज से आप काटेंगे.
18 कैरेट गोल्ड.
Straight right through. जो ऊपर से जो plated होता है ना, तो obviously अंदर गोल्ड नहीं रहेगा ना.
अच्छा. some other metal.
It's soft ना.
Silver.
If it's brass or something, plus weight देखना है. Of course the best test is कि
बट अगर कोपा के बनाएंगे प्लेट कर दीजिए.
हाँ, तब तो plating inside up you should be able to bite through. Because gold 22 is soft ना. काफी soft है.
कोपा is soft ना.
नहीं, but कोपा के तो कलर is different ना. It's more brown.
Orangish.
Best test is of course the acid test ना. अपना संगे acid तो नहीं ले घूमेंगे, but if you drop it in a bit of self ammonia or nitric acid or something, that's how jewelers test it ना. Yeah, तो अगर oxide करिया हो गया तो this not सोना.
सब ड्रिंक लेके छोड़ के देख लेना, बट वहाँ टाइम कहाँ है बैकस्ट्रीट?
No, backstreet में what they do, unless you in backstreet what you can do is basically sometimes they do have real gold. Okay, कहते हैं वो दिखाते हैं आपको, they put it in their pocket and take out something else. So you say, give me this, I'll buy this. वही इसका ट्रिक भी होता है.
Well guys, you know, आज हम बातें कर रहे हैं will के बारे में कि आपको will बनाना कितना ज़रूरी है. We have all made our will, and the other point that I would like to cover is basically to tell you that अगर आपके the last point I'd like to cover is अगर आपके पास दो family है, for example you've been married into another relationship, how do you think we should target this? How do you think people should encounter this when they are making wills? कि say फर्ज कीजिएगा कि I'm married and I've divorced, I'm married again, and you've got some trailing कौन सी बोले इसके, you've got some beneficiaries here, and then you've got some beneficiaries which has also appeared here. It is a very tight game. You know, it's a very tight game, you know.
अक्का कहाँ बना, जोका किधर बिकना, so you have to be very careful.
उसको what do you think? How do you think, you know, guys, that can be handled?
I think
there's a lot of people abroad. There's a lot of people abroad that have multiple kids from different marriages, for example. No?
I think the emotional ties come in. फिर bloodline आ जाता है, you know, and then you also see how well off one sibling is from the other. Because जो fair play आ जाता है ना, कि somebody one child is a
because there's a push and a pull
and
over
one is
there,
really poor.
There's a push pull.
they'll be generally बोली बेचारा गरीब है, इसको थोड़ा ज़्यादा शेयर दे देंगे.
हाँ, but honesty कहाँ गई आजकल के ज़माने में?
And most people accept it, ना? But what happens is if your family is split and the non-biological parent is staying or is more close to the non-biological children, अक्सर होता है जो धनी होते हैं, they want everything. They don't think about कि भाई हमारा एक बहन है, वो भाई है, is not doing well, life hasn't treated them that well, they haven't made it in life, it's okay. वो ज़माना गया ना, then आधा है तो आधा ही मांगेंगे, पूरा आधा loaf bread. So coming back to the sibling side, the emotional thing, I think हमारा pull will be more towards the biological.
To the biological.
Yeah. Unless you have married or remarried or you're in a relationship where there's a young child and they've grown up with you, then obviously the fair thing would be कि उसका परवरिश किया, they're close to you, they've done something for you, and then the ethical part आ जाता है ना कि the fair thing to do is to equally distribute. But fairness में आजकल emotion आ जाता है, law आ जाता है, and in the end I think it's how you are treated by your family.
बिल्कुल. I mean it comes to
bottom line.
Yeah, it is.
That's what my what do you think?
नहीं, doctor, you're right. I mean you can finish it. But what it is?
I'm done.
The will is basically, when you make a will, the will is basically, I mean, it's not like you say, oh, it's my biological child, I should give him that. It's how
you're treated.
How you treated, how people, been with you. I mean, in your bad times, who's with you in your bad times? You know, I mean, who was
basically
there for you?
who's looking after you?
Who's there for you? Basically, if your biological child is not there with you when you needed him, or he's not been with you, then it's your decision. If you want to give him a certain percentage, you can do that. But what if your other child from the other marriage, all this not your biological child, and he has been with you all this time, and he's been with the good and the
मेरे पास एक case in point एक example आया.
Yeah.
Sorry to butt in. वहाँ पर ये out of 4 children एक जो बच्चा है, he got a lot of things up until he was 50 or 55. उसके लिए सब कुछ किया गया. Parents said, "ओ गरीब है, उसको घर दे दो, मोटर दे दो." उसका माइग्रेशन का सब कुछ ऊपर बंद किया. Everything was done, and he migrated to an overseas country. जब यहाँ आया तो यहाँ से भी he was basically, for want of a better word, but bludging on the parents, right? And when the parents got sick and old, he hardly visited them. फोन भी नहीं करते. And the other 3 children are saying, भाई इसके लिए तो तुमने सब कुछ कर दिया while you were young and he is still young. In the will, they're starting to fight because they somehow knew what was in the will, right? And they're saying कि इसको 1 quota नहीं मिलना चाहिए, इसको 50% already मिल गया, 50% में से 3 बटोरा हमको लगाते हैं. And this person is not in agreement. He wants his quota still from the whole. In fact, he's already received more than half of the assets.
Yes.
So and then fair play आ जाता ना. What do the parents do? Do they still give him a quota? I said, look, we've done give you 50%. We're only going to give you 1/5.
That's one way of looking. The other thing, I mean, in a nutshell, it is dependent on an individual basically. A will is what? A will is, it's not your property. It is somebody else's property. So if somebody gives you anything,
They don't have to give it to you. No?
That's right. You don't,
It's a freebie, present.
It is
An extra, no?
an extra. So you should appreciate
gift.
you should appreciate what you get anyway. Or you got your, जैसे मैंने पहले भी बोला ना, your parents or whoever's giving you stuff, they've worked hard. That's their asset.
Do you remember as a kid? The reason I'm asking is because we are all selfish these days, And as a kid, if you've got 4 or 5 family, जब आपको क्रिसमस प्रेजेंट्स मिलती हैं, you look at your side and see कि उसको क्या मिला है.
Yeah, it does happen.
It's very common.
It still happens.
It still happens.
I went to a birthday party
and we are
this
like
year.
that. Human beings are like that.
There are 2 or 3 children and they're still looking and picking and.
हाँ, कि उसको क्या मिला है.
Body language से पता लग जाता है.
Yeah, we are naturally born like this. Human beings we are like that. So हम क्या कहते? We are selfish. We are selfish.
That is human nature. It's a bottom line.
Bottom line.
Greed.
Yes.
Selfishness, lying, treachery, deception. Macbeth वाला जमाना गया नहीं. You got to watch your back.
So if you look at it, that all these things that you just said, that if someone doesn't give you the will, में नाम नहीं लिखा है, you always look on the side and say, hey, भले आप कहीं पर भी हो, you go, hey, the question कहानी हमें नहीं दी. You start asking questions because you want. और जैसे कि किसी ने कहा है कि the rich always wants more. And the poor always, is satisfied. They lose out.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned to before. जो millionaire है, he still wants his quota. वो नहीं बोलेगा कि हमारे गरीब भाई और बहन है, लोग
दे दो
उसको half दे दो. उसके जो बचा है, the rest of the siblings, 3 or 4 of them will share, ना? It doesn't work like that. They'll still want their pound of flesh. Sherlock and Antonio में जो था.
I have actually, come across a case where there's a lady who's got 2 properties, in the running about $2 million worth total, and she's got 3 kids. And उसमें से she's recently been diagnosed with cancer.
Sad. Yes.
Brain tumor actually, and she's in Melbourne getting treatment as we speak. And the kids don't speak among each other. The lands are all paid for, the money is all paid for. She actually went and bought a plot for herself, and she's bought the stone which is going to go on top of the grave.
So it's terminal.
So she's actually bought everything and got herself ready and paid for everything out of her own money. And I said to her, have you made a will? She goes, no, my lawyer told me to make a will before I go on the surgery. So वो कहती हैं कि it is so hard because no one's actually looking after me because I know these people are going to fight for my property. So she's actually went and made a will, and put everything in the will, saying कि किसको कितना मिलेगा. And even though the kids are not looking after her, she's actually split equally amongst all of them. तो कुछ ऐसे लोग भी होते हैं जो equally split करके आपको दे देते हैं कि चलो ये झगड़ा ना करे. To the kids, although they are not actually looking after, she's in receiving
less
surgery.
chance of disputing the will then.
Because she knows कि आज अगर वो झगड़ा करते हैं तो कल भी झगड़ा करेंगे. There is no two ways about it.
ज़्यादा झगड़ा करेंगे.
ज़्यादा झगड़ा करेंगे.
ज़्यादा दुश्मनी होगी.
And I've also known of cases where the adult, due to the fact कि जब पैसे जो है जो state को गई है, the brother and sister are fighting and they're not talking to each other. And due to the fact कि because they're going for this property case, they have actually developed mental illness. And I think in closing the program, I'd like to say कि how bad it is when you are fighting for a will.
Yeah,
Once it goes to the court, then उसको आप case withdraw भी कर सकते हैं. But will the other party withdraw is a question.
But there is no benefit in अगर आप कोर्ट जाते हैं कि whatever is in the will basically अगर मान legal cost will eat all the things that common sense should prevail in these circumstances anyway.
The first thing is the legal cost, but the mental cost is high because the person is 50 years old, and at the age of 50 they are running through trailing with the mental illness constantly with the depression and medication due to the fact कि दो भाई और बहन लड़ रहे हैं and one doesn't want to give the other. So let's take a short break and we'll be back shortly. वो फोटो आप
लुंगी धोती ना धोती रहता है लुंगी.
हाँ?
लुंगी इज धोती.
Yeah, yes.
फिजी में वो किसी ने ट्रैक में सुलू डांस बनाया ना.
Sulu dance, yeah, very nice, very.
Sulu dance.
Guys, by the way, just a little bit of a plug here that there's a new app called Akashvani that has been written by a guy in Brisbane. He's actually written an app जिसके ज़रिए से आप रेडियो साना को उस ऐप में गूगल ऐप और आईफोन ऐप में इंस्टॉल करके सुन सकते हैं.
iPad में भी.
Yes. So गूगल में आप जा सकते हैं. ऐप का नाम है आकाशवाणी, AKASHVAANI, and it's called Akashvani. And Akashvani. So ये है खबर और in closing it's about 10 to 3 and हम हमारा अपने chat rooms में काफ़ी लोग busy लग रहे हैं enjoying and the bidding and किसी ने ये फरमाया है कि $2,000 they paid for a नकली
choice कोई
diamond
हमने bid कर दिया.
कोई वो bid मुझको bid किया है. अच्छा. सोना में नहीं झींगा बेच रहा रोड साइड.
तुम और कोई झींगा बेच रहा.
2-3 झींगा रहा नीचे पत्थर रहा सर.
हमने सुना है तो क्लासिक
No, it's about 1998 में.
नहीं सुना.
I was driving to Suva. तुम जानो मन रस रोड साइड थोड़ा ऊपर से जाता
तुम्हें क्या मिला ना झींगा
गिड़िया जाता. 2-3 चंगुल रहा उठाया मला काफी राइट है ना.
गड़ू है काफी.
It wasn't much, $10 to get home in.
मला काफी गड़ू है ना.
काफी गड़ू है भी रहा बरतू रहा अंधेरिया वाला. हाँ तो $10 गया बट काफी जो
घरे लेके खर्चू है ये.
खर्चू है ये खर्चू. $1,000 एक शख्स को तो दारू बेच दिया उसने बोतल में पानी भर के. एक दिखाया बाकी 11 में पानी था. तो जस्ट थोड़ा सतर्क रहिए फिजी में.
Yes, of course.
Of course, yes.
Only in Fiji.
Only in Fiji it happens.
Well, in closing, the last your thoughts on will, guys, because it's a very important subject. हम भूल जाते हैं. We'll go around again saying कि हम अपनी तरफ से क्या टिप्स देख सकते हैं जो लोग will लिख रहे हैं. Let's give a bit of a help and guidance to जो लोग लिख रहे हैं या तो फिर सोच रहे हैं लिखने के लिए किस तरह से उनको execute करना चाहिए. Plan.
Most people who are educated here, high school onwards, they are quite aware of the requirements. So we're basically giving tips for people who are migrants, who are older people. शायद उसका अंग्रेजी अच्छा नहीं हो, English नहीं अच्छा. They may not be quite well versed in legal matters and social matters. Na? Say people who have migrated in their 50s, mostly parents and grandparents. वो शायद सोचते हैं कि उसके पास कुछ भी नहीं है. They don't really have much property, but ये गलत है. Everybody has some asset. It might be jewelry, it might be musical instruments. घर तो बड़ा asset है ना. The main asset is house. But everybody has things. They might have a small bank account. It might only have $15,000-$20,000 in it. Like everybody has assets, so everybody should have a will. डोंट थिंक कि हमारे पास कुछ नहीं है, लोग अपने में बांट लेंगे। वो तो वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 महात्मा गांधी वाला जमाने का थिंकिंग है ना कि दे विल टेक इट ना, बिकॉज द डिस्प्यूट विल हैपन, दुश्मनी होंगे, एंड इन आवर कल्चर वी वांट टू मेक पीस ना, नॉट वॉर। वी ट्राई एंड लीव पीपल इन अ हैप्पी स्टेट। दुश्मनी करके नहीं जाना चाहिए दुनिया में, इफ एट ऑल पॉसिबल ना। सो दैट्स वन थिंग, एवरीबॉडी हैज समथिंग, डू हैव अ रिटर्न विल, get legal advice, and finally if you're going to make a video, we'll keep it decent. I've seen some indecent ones.
No, that's the बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने। You finished or you got more?
Done, short one.
बिल्कुल
Summary.
I agree with you, Doc. Will is important for everybody to make. आप जब will बना रहे हैं, अगर आप do it yourself will कर रहे हैं, तो टेक इट, कृपया करके आप अपने एक सॉलिसिटर को देखिएगा और उसको दिखाइएगा कि आपने विल कैसे बनाया। इलेक्ट्रिक ड्रॉ और शेड सम लाइट कि आपको बताएंगे कि इसमें कौन कौन सा लूप होल्स है ना, बिकॉज देयर इन विल देयर इज लूप होल्स, ओपन सेंटेंसेस जो है वो क्लोज करेंगे आपके लिए। तो इट इज़ इम्पोर्टेंट दैट आप लीगल एडवाइस, जैसे डॉक्टर ने कहा, या टेक लीगल एडवाइस। ठीक है, आप विल किट से अपना विल बना रहे हैं, बट हैव अ सेकेंड ओपिनियन टू सी इफ दैट विल इज़ करेक्ट। और दूसरा चीज़, जब आप विल बनाते हैं, बी फेयर एंड इक्विटेबल, क्योंकि रिमेंबर, आप कितने भी अच्छे विल बनाएंगे, इट विल ऑलवेज
be disputed, possibility of being disputed.
Yeah, there is a possibility it will be disputed. आपकी, if it's your kids or whoever your beneficiary is, basically saying है कि दो अक्की हुआ है। So
Human nature.
Yeah, human nature. So be fair, equitable, will बनाइएगा। And finally, अपना जो will है, प्लीज ये will आप अपने मरने के, when you making the will, make sure that will is active after your death. It's not like straight away.
अगर उसमें clauses जो है that ये effective after your death.
Yeah, effective, has to be effective after your death.
Okay.
और जल्दबाजी में अपने जो प्रॉपर्टीज है नहीं कि ऐसे कर देना कि give it to your kids before your death.
But it can change ना will बाद में। गुस्सा अगर होगी you mean to say.
Yeah. बिल्कुल।
It's interesting.
So what you're saying, do not depart with your assets
with
while you're still alive.
बिल्कुल।
It could be a mistake.
It is very important to hold all your assets while you're alive. Yeah, because there is no guarantee कि आपके बेटे or whoever your beneficiary is going to look after you after you get rid of your assets. So it's very important कि जो अपना assets है, you keep it to yourself, and if your partner is alive, make sure she is another beneficiary of.
I think the other plus point on that keeping it to yourself is because if your son is died, for example, all of a sudden, and bahu bachi bhi hai, तो अगर then you are safe ना। अगर I'm not saying कि बहू आपको घर से निकाल देंगे, डो का पैसे
निकालते हैं।
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
हाँ, तो ये
No, we can talk about
घर की स्टोरीज में देखते हैं ना, वो क्या बोलते हो टेलीविजन वाला प्रोग्राम,
घर की कहानी
बहुत ज्यादा निकलते हैं ना ये
बिल्कुल। It is, and
good thing you brought it up because 2 hours में हमने ये मिस कर दिया था वो point.
Because it is very important ना, क्योंकि हम हमेशा देखा जाए, people from Fiji always make this mistake, कहते हैं मेरी बेटा और बहू है ना, हम कौन सी करेगा रख के चीज, give it to our kids and they'll look after.
In Lambasa there is a place where Dilip, a friend, visited. वहाँ पे इस तरह का बहुत सारे केसेस है जहाँ पर उनको घर से निकाल दिया गया because of will. And there's a, I don't know, there's an asylum or something in Lambasa जहाँ पर वो आश्रम में,
not aware of it.
वहाँ पे you can go
maybe
and feed
it's a religious based body. Religious
जगह नहीं, it's all the old people that is
but
homeless.
Who runs it? Is it like a religious Hindu समाज,
कोई संस्था है,
or is it a government? कोई संस्था चला रहा है।
तो those people that जिनके घर से निकाल दिया, टीचर, डॉक्टर्स इत्यादि जो है वहाँ पर है।
And he's gone. First time, it's a good thing.
He's actually gone and fed them, and they've got stories out of them.
Our friend Dilip.
Yes.
Might be a good idea to get a documentary.
Yes, he's made a little documentary on it.
पढ़े हुए।
और इसको देखो ये टीचर रहा पहले जमाना में, टीचर रहा, लड़कन बच्चन सबसे घर से निकाल दिस बोले घर बच के। There was another story.
One person, yeah. I know of 3 people in Sydney, 1 male and 2 females, ex-health professionals. उसको घर से निकाल दिया, not due to the child, but influence from the bahu.
Yeah. So yeah, ये mistake आपको कभी नहीं करना है. This is one of the things you could avoid basically. Your will should be effective from.
They were relegated to a garage, modified garage. अपने घर में garage में रहते थे.
And
Modified garage.
Plus, if you are a pensioner, you still do pay your expenses over there. Bharti, I've heard of cases where because she's on pension, people have actually bought house because a white family I know that have actually bought a house. The daughter has bought a house कि हाँ granny flat बनाया है कि my mom will live with me and she's going to pay the rent.
प्रबंध करते हैं.
मैं बोला यार क्यों रेंट पे करेगी वो, भले पेंशन है क्यों रेंट पे करेगी, she is actually spent the whole life looking after you. अब ये पैसे मांग रहे हैं उनसे रेंट लगे because she's a pensioner.
Well, still I'm aware of a scapegoat here where the pension has been put in somebody else's account.
बाप रे बाप.
The beneficiary does
सारी
not,
जिंदगी गुजार देते हैं बच्चों को पाल पोस के बड़े कर देते हैं.
thing, they get it and उसमें से उसको निकाल कर
अपने
pocket money देते.
It happens. It
has happened. Yeah. So
it's happening. I know exactly what you're saying. This is what I'm saying. कि please आपके पास you got your assets.
Hold on to
your assets. Yeah, don't get
and make a will.
Make a will and say, this is my will, you guys take over. Your will should be effective from your death, basically. Nothing, you don't dispose any of your assets until you are no longer alive, basically.
Gifting is something else. मान लो अगर if you are well off and you have lots of
आपके पास सारे पैसे पड़े जो इंटरेस्ट खा रहे तो आप दे सकते हैं, डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं.
You've got someone who's buying a house or land and you've got disposable income, तो उसको you can gift
दे सकते हैं.
But I would inform the other children as well that this is what you're doing, and when your turn comes, you'll also get that. True. Or keep in touch, na. If you communicate, communication is very important. If you don't communicate, interference खर लगेगा ना, feedback करने लगेगा.
मछली टीन लक्को लगाए पड़ी डोर.
So communication and effective. Legal documentation होना चाहिए. And in the end it's left to the individual now what you do with your assets. ये छोटी सी ये जिंदगी है ना, लेकिन रास्ते पहचानी नहीं है. गाना बोलता है पहचानी रास्ते हैं. We don't know हमारा कहाँ पर रास्ता में फोक मिलेगा.
And also
चौराहे पे आ जाएंगे तब what do you do?
Also, we are receiving this as a gift. So we should appreciate whatever we get.
Quick one.
Yeah.
Jeet Senior ka 80th birthday tha.
Yeah.
Congratulations to your dad.
Yeah, thank you.
And happy birthday, Janamdin Mubarak. And thank you for the cake. We tasted it. Banana cake tha shayad.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, guys, we've enclosed some very good important facts on will क्यों बनाना चाहिए और how important is हमारी ज़िंदगी में कितना importance रखती है. अगर खास तौर पर आपके पास कुछ properties है, कुछ things है that you would like to dispose of when you die. If not, then it'll go to the state, but the state will then decide कि आपके next of kin जो है then वहाँ पे वो accordingly they'll give it to you. तो अगर अपने will नहीं बनाई है और tomorrow if you die, don't worry. उसके बाद बना सकते हैं, बट ये आपकी विल जो है आपके प्रॉपर्टीज वगैरह है, देयर इज अ लॉ आउट देयर दैट आपके बच्चे को जाएंगे. इतना तो बैड नहीं, बट इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ताकि फैमिली डिस्प्यूट ना हो. तो अगर आप कुछ हो जिंदगी में,
जितना भी हम बुजुर्ग होते जाएंगे, डेली वी एक्यूमुलेटिंग wealth.
Yes.
Even a small bank account is interest, na. So if people who live till 80 or 90, they might think, I've lived my life. They become a bit soft, na. अपना guard नीचे कर देते. And that's when the counter punch will happen.
बिल्कुल.
जैसे हमारे नोआह आकला नोआह था biblical, वो 600 years ले जिया था. कितना asset रहा उसके पास, ना.
True.
Live till 600. So we are having people, and it's been predicted that our children can live up to 100.
बिल्कुल.
Health will be improved. And there's a new medical system, DNA research. तो जो 100 तक जिएंगे, अभी तक जो लोग 75 में स्वर्गवासी होते गुजर जाते हैं, they got another 25 years of directly or indirectly accumulating wealth. So there'll be more disputes in our grandchildren's time unless they're really thoughtful and learn from the experience of the previous generation. History को repeat नहीं होना चाहिए ना.
बिल्कुल नहीं.
But होता है. They say history repeats itself. Well,
that's why it's called history, na.
Well, we are actually leaving behind those people actually are watching hearing our feed on Radio Sana. There's going to be Yadu Ka Khazana coming up shortly after this. So we're leaving you behind. And
next week गाना गाएंगे.
नेक्स्ट वीक हम कुछ ना कुछ प्रैक्टिस करेंगे.
Yeah.
And in closing, on closing this chapter that we have actually done here today, हमारे तरफ से ये कहना चाहते हैं कि make a will, give a bit of a thought. अगर आप will बना रहे हैं कि जो भी आपके पास पड़े हुए हैं, give a bit of a thought. Interest, lawyers will not cost you too much, between $80 to $120. There are some lawyers that might rip you off, but be known that in Sydney, Australia, it shouldn't cost you more than $120.
Not more than, between $80 to $100 maximum.
Shouldn't cost you more than that. तो अगर पेंशन में है तो पेंशन में तो थोड़ा डेंट लगी ना.
पेंशन 10% ऑफ देना चाहिए ऑटोमेटिकली.
So give a good thought. अच्छी तरह से सोच विचार कीजिए. आप अकेले बचे हुए, ये भी अच्छी तरह से सोच विचार कीजिए कि अगर आप यू द ओनली सोल प्रॉपर्टी ओनर है और आपके पास बच्चे हैं या तो फिर बच्चा है या फिर पतो भी है घर में, तो ये सब चीज़ अच्छी तरह से स्टडी कर लीजिएगा कि आपकी ज़िंदगी हाउ गुड इट इज़, हेल्थ इज़ कितना अच्छा है, कि कितने दिन तक अभी आप जाओगे. अगर आप IT रीच करना चाहोगे, अभी आप 60 में है तो 20 साल बचे हुए हैं, तो भैया डिस्ट्रीब्यूट मत कर दीजिएगा क्योंकि फिर खलास रास्ते में आ जाइयो.
बचा के रहियो भैया.
हाँ, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अच्छी तरह से सोच की करिए. और जो लोग विल बना चुके हैं, आप उसको रिफाइन करना चाहते हैं, प्लीज़ डू
रिव्यू इट.
डू रिव्यू इट. अगर नहीं बनाई है तो प्लीज़ मेक इट. अगर भूल गए कहीं रख के अलमारी में तो ढूंढ के आप देख लीजिएगा फाइनल कि वो क्या होता है. कभी कभी वो फाइन प्रिंट जो होते हैं मिट जाते हैं ना, और कहीं कॉपी बना के और डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं.
क्या होता है परम, नॉर्मली व्हेन एक्चुअली यू डू विल्स अप हियर, आपके जो सॉलिसिटर होता है, दे विल ऑलवेज कीप अ कॉपी. दे कीप द ओरिजिनल एंड दे विल गिव यू अ कॉपी.
ओके.
सो आप जिसके पास विल बनाने जा रहे हैं यहाँ पर, जितने भी सॉलिसिटर्स है, दे विल कीप योर ओरिजिनल विल.
और किसी को बता दो ना कि मैं विल
बना दें. बिल्कुल, समबडी शुड नो दैट द विल इज देयर.
कहाँ पर रखी हुई है, ताकि झगड़ा ना हो ना मरने के बाद. क्योंकि इंसान जब गुजर जाता है, जैसे आपने कहा कि ताकेगा बोले ना, उसके आने नहीं देना बोले मिट्टी में.
Yeah, and of course leave a copy with your trusted legal.
Because in will में there is a trust, there is a क्या बोलते हैं, executor होता है. Will के executor होता है ना, then you have to nominate an executor in your will.
Usually a lawyer.
Yeah, normally could be a family member as could
not
be a
necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily. Could be a family member. So the executor will probably good to have a copy as well. So
just a question, guys. When you've got properties, for example, and they are under mortgage, what happens to that?
The state will. What happens in a situation like that is.
तो अगर विल बना दिया है, for example, कि विल में लिखा हुआ है कि प्रॉपर्टी है, कॉन्टेस्ट करने के लिए गया, you'll be going for the property, ना कि मेरा प्रॉपर्टी. What happens to the mortgage? You own the property.
Payout कर देंगे. The bank will.
No, what will happen? It will be sold first. Or
so they'll have to sell it.
Sell it.
They'll be given a.
They'll the ultimate.
Title नहीं है ना उनके पास. Title बैंक के पास.
Bank for the title.
This is property sale नहीं होता है. अपना बैंक अपना तो पैसा ले लेगा ना. बरामद कर लेंगे.
Or if the will is under, so for example, is under your name, you've got the right to say, look, I'll take over the mortgage, and then they'll redraw the loan under your name, and the mortgage will be under your name,
and I think another important fact I'd like to add to that is because कभी-कभी क्या होता है कि हालांकि आपके घर या बिजनेस paid off ही है, आपको शायद नहीं पता होगा कि आपकी जो पेरेंट है, जो जिसने विल बनाई है, वो कहीं पर शायद कर्ज ले रखे हुए हैं उस घर के ऊपर ही.
प्राइवेट लोन लिमिट से.
हाँ, तो ये ज़रा चेक कर लीजिएगा क्योंकि कम्युनिकेशन एज इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. कि क्या है कि अभी आजकल क्या हो गया है कि पेंशन के जरिए से लोग अपनी पूरी ज़िंदगी अच्छी तरह से बिता नहीं सकते हैं. हॉलिडे पे जाना चाहते हैं, दवा इत्यादि लेना चाहते हैं, शॉपिंग इत्यादि करते हैं, तो उनकी जेब खर्च होनी चाहिए ना कुछ सेपरेटली. तो ये निकाल लेते हैं, कैश लोन निकाल लेते हैं बैंक से without you knowing. So that could be an issue. So these are some of the thoughts on WILL, and I have to review my will.
No, you have to, everybody. Actually, it's good to review your will. I mean, ho sake to every 2 years. I mean, it is.
You've been listening to Fiji Indian TV, folks out there.
Yes.
www.fijiindiantv.com and email being fijiindiantv@hotmail.com from Sydney, Australia. Studios in Liverpool.
Yes.
Episode 67.
And we often will see you next week with a wonderful topic. Next week का topic हम ये है कि हम बात कर रहे हैं चोरों के बारे में. We're talking about thieves, चोर. General topic is chor.
See chor.
Thieves.
We can see, and some people will start laughing and smiling.
बहुत रकम के चोर होते हैं.
बिल्कुल. Doc.
दिल के चोर और.
And if you want to win $600 worth of plasma television, which is going to be drawn.
Plus, digital.
Digital.
Yep.
Digital TV.
Yep. बिल्कुल. Celebrity night.
And
3rd of July.
Please come on the 3rd of July. Free entry.
Yes.
Which way am I going?
Khana khoj ityad.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to buy your food.
Yeah.
And this is a celebrity night, free entry.
And Doc is one of the celebrities.
And we'll be mostly organizing, so we will be in the background,
Yes.
running around and making sure our guests are being looked after, and that sound system is working and just helping out.
Yes.
There will be some entertainment there.
There will
We
be
have our guests
definitely
coming.
entertainment. Of course, there will be entertainment.
Very
बहुत
good
सारे-
entertainment, in fact.
Yes, बहुत सारे. I'm actually trying to put some new people over there as well. बहुत सारे entertainers होंगे वहाँ पर, लेकिन सबको कुछ ना कुछ मिलने को मिलेगा मौका.
और ये मैं एक बात बता दूं कि ये नाइट में आप कुछ ऐसे एंटरटेनर्स को देखेंगे जो आप शायद हर वक्त नहीं देखेंगे, बिकॉज हमारा थोड़ा जो पॉलिटिक्स है वो इसके शो में नहीं जाते, यहाँ नहीं जाते, वहाँ नहीं जाते हैं ना, तो बोलते कि भाई इसके तो मैंने देखा नहीं कभी. सो व्हाट यू ट्राइंग टू डू इज न्यूट्रलाइज पॉलिटिक्स एंड भेदभाव वगैरह, गेट एवरीबॉडी टुगेदर ऑन द नाइट. शायद 4 hours के प्रोग्राम रहेगा.
You will see people you have never seen.
and a lot of people
talking to a couple of
haven't
people, I mean, we've never met some people that came in the studio. So for 15 years we didn't see each other, and we know they exist, they sing.
And they're excellent artists.
That's right.
Singers, dancers, poets.
And
So do come, bring your family, do come and support. Don't forget it's a 3rd of Friday.
3rd of July.
It's Friday
And
week.
we're
3rd of
starting
July,
at
from 6:30 p.m.
6:30 doors open.
Yes.
Program will be starting at 7, so please be seated by. ये हमारा दरख्वास्त है, our humble
Friday,
request that being Friday, don't be later than about 7:15, 7:30.
इधर से भी आते हैं तो दुरुस्त आएंगे ना.
आते हैं, but you'll miss out on the preliminary part, na?
Yes.
So if you aim to be there by 7:15, it'll be dark and cold.
Yes. Dress nicely. It'll be fun to see some of you dressed up in local Sydney celebrities को आप देख सकते हैं. And thank you for all the sponsors that are actually participating at the moment, and I have those friends who actually come on board and say, look, hey, come on, let's join in together. And you'll be seeing the whole lots of list appearing in our groups. We'll be sharing around. Those who have watching this for the first time, head off to Fiji Indian TV group on Facebook, and you'll be seeing a lot of information there.
बिल्कुल, अगर आप you going to be part of this celebrity night, अगर if you want to see your slides and stuff, can contact Param. His phone number is there, Doc.
Very low cost sponsorship for
Just
advertising, and
yeah,
of course the phone number to contact is 0406 955 069.
Yes, मेरे नंबर में 269 है.
Yeah.
Interesting. 040 69 55 भी है और फिर 069.
On this thought, we leave you guys, and do please subscribe to our channel on Facebook and on like our pages, which is on Facebook. And if you got any talents that you would like us to explore, give us an email.
We always showcase your talent.
Yes.
Thank you for hearing and listening, and we are on www.radioafsana.com. Afsana?
Yes.
Okay.
FijiIndianTV.email. Hey. FijiIndianTV.com.
Yes.
Okay, guys.
Have a good week, and we'll be seeing you in next. When is this? Next Saturday?
Next,
no.
Next Saturday. Sunday का program है ना?
Sunday का program है ना?
After that.
After that.
So we got one more plug to go.
Yes,
Sunday.
one week.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Have a good week.
See you.